Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Candlekeep Academy. Huzzah! We made it to
Yeah.
4 episodes. Who
Hey.
would have thought, huh?
Yay!
Incredible milestone. Hola, nice.
Hola.
Okay, so I am James from Top Dog Games, and I'm going to be your dungeon master tonight. We are the creators of Stat Trackers, which is a handy accessory for Dungeon Masters of 5th edition. You just hang them on your screen in initiative order, and you have all of the stats for everybody in the combat right in front of you. Comes with two kinds of blanks. One for your player characters, so you have all their information. One is blanks for monsters that aren't included in the set, and then the set also comes with 317 official 5th edition monsters, animals, and NPCs for your convenience. So tonight we're actually doing a giveaway. So if you are watching and you are not a follower, make sure that you hit follow now, because after the break we're going to be picking a winner for a core stat tracker set. That's a $65 retail value. Or if you already own the core set, you could get $65 worth of product from topdoggames.net. So welcome, everybody. And real quickly, we're going to go around, just let everybody introduce themselves and tell us who they are playing. So who would like to start? Let's start with Jordan, right to my left on screen.
Sure. I'm Jordan. I play Cowardly Wizard Necromancer Radley Daspinar, and I'm a good magic boy. There you go.
Nice. Omar?
What's up, everybody? I am Omar. I am playing Brother Ven. He is a tiefling cleric, a war cleric. So that's it.
I'm
Mariah.
hello. My name is Liza, and I am playing Soraya, aka Lady Soraya, because it's the title that she's very insistent on, and she's a human variant sorcerer, with a bunch of tricks up her sleeve.
Next looks like John.
Hi, I'm John. I'm playing Grim Haney. He is a arcane trickster rogue, and he is very interested in finding out more about magic and how the magic in the world works.
Excellent. Laura?
All right, hi, I'm Laura. I play Opal Lightfrost Crane. She is a 3rd level fighter of noble birth, and she's here for an adventure.
Good. And last but not least, Mike.
Hi, my name is Mike, and I will be playing Lionel. Lionel is a level 3 now human druid, so even though he's human, he will be spending much of his time as things that are not human, preferably bears of various sizes. And I'm excited to be here and excited to do some Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice. And that's what we're going to do. So our party right here are part of the inaugural class of Candlekeep Academy. Candlekeep Library is this fortress / repository of knowledge along the Sword Coast. And the party here are part of a 40 person inaugural class of this kind of experiment they're doing at the library. They are all between 15 and 16 years old, I believe, 15 and 17, something like that. And they, during their short time here, they've been here about a year at the school, and during their first year, they've almost gotten themselves killed a couple of times. They've experienced some extreme danger here in the library. For some reason, Jordan's character, Radley, is now the keeper of a figurine of Orcus that was handed to him for safekeeping. So there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of nasty stuff brewing. Last adventure, however, they spent some time in the Firefly cellar, which is an annex to the Candlekeep Library. There, they came under the curse of Shemshine's bedtime rhyme, which was this insidious earworm, which basically took over the party, and it was a malevolent spirit. They discovered through experimentation that the only way to kill this thing was to crush it under a huge stone, because in the storybook, the last scene, when they finally got it to play out, showed this malevolent spirit being crushed under a millstone. So the party destroyed half of the Firefly cellar by bringing down a massive stone statue that was secured, hanging from the ceiling by some chains, and it was this big stone statue, and they managed to crush the spirit Shemshine. When they did so, the spirit actually coalesced and disappeared, or I should say, dissipated and disappeared. Um, a short time later, after the dust literally settled from the library, you discovered the book Shemshime's Bedtime Rhyme, complete, undamaged, and brand new, once again sitting on top of the rubble. When Varner, the senior scribe in the library, finally came to, because she was knocked unconscious, she took the book, secured it, literally tying the book shut with some her belt from her robe, tying it securely shut and clasping it tightly to her chest. The huge ruckus in the basement actually shook the entire house of rest, which sits atop the Firefly Library, knocking people out of their beds as they slept in the middle of the night. And everybody, once the portal was opened, everybody came to see exactly what had transpired inside the Candlekeep cellar. So that is where we will pick it up. You see that people do eventually come rushing down the spiral staircase and witness the disaster that is now the Firefly cellar, with the massive stone book crushed all of the shelves and balconies along the south wall of the Candlekeep, of the Firefly cellar. Once the top is opened, the hatch that you had been sealed in, quarantined because of this insidious earworm, you see that Avowed come rushing down the stairs to see exactly what happened. And among them, you see Silvira, which is one of the great readers who happened to be in the outer ward, is among them. She is the tiefling who always dresses in kind of form-fitting black clothing. So she comes kind of rushing down the steps and sees the disaster that lies. And she is like, "What is this? What is going on here?"
If I may interject, we vanquished some kind of demon creature, some kind of evil spirit.
Varna, what is this boy talking about? She says to Varner, senior scribe. And you see the senior scribe has a big, knot on her head and blood kind of trickling down her face. And she's like, "Oh, it's true. It's true, Silvira. They've banished something that was here in the library." And she's looking around at the destruction of the library. She's like, and brought half the Firefly cellar down in the process. But they did more than I could. I was knocked unconscious and would be dead right now if it was not for these students.
Yes, Lady Miss. Let me explain something, okay? We came here to do our paper, and then a bunch of stuff that happened that was crazy, and then we took care of that, and then now I think we should get extra credit.
Yes. Incidentally, we will be needing an extension on the assignment.
And I think some of us actually still need medical attention.
Oh yes, that too.
We were pretty beat up.
So some of the Avowed that come in go rushing back out to find bandages and stuff to patch you guys up. But eventually, after some questioning, you are released from the scene and allowed to return to the seaward manse, the windward manse, which is where your dormitories are. Do any of you want to stop or do anything along the way?
I mean, I think I want to rest at this point. And that we were, I think me and Brother Ven, I think were knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
When the rubble fell on us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a lot of interest in anything right now, but safety.
I'm just going to turn to the rest of the group and I'm just going to say, look, our placement here at the Candlekeep Academy is growing increasingly more tenuous. We have to make sure that nothing else exciting happens to us this term, all right? We don't want the great readers looking our way. We don't want anyone looking our way. Let's just be as inconspicuous as possible for as many weeks as we can.
I don't think we can possibly be inconspicuous at this point.
Of course we can.
We've been involved with everything strange that's happened at this place in the past few weeks.
We'll be fine. Everything is going to be fine.
Okay. It's a good idea, but I think we're going to be on triple probation now. So,
Not triple
Uh,
probation,
I-
triple secret probation.
yes.
It is almost as if the incidents have found us. To be fair,
No, don't get conspiratorial now. We have to maintain a low profile. Just, to take it down a notch. We have to remember we're not celebrities or famous heroes. We are students. We are here to learn and to write a paper, which none of us have done, and we need to do.
Well, other than a propensity to speak passwords and go to other dimensions, we really haven't looked for much in the way of danger on purpose.
Yes.
Nevertheless, danger has found you, and you limp your way back to the Windward Manse, to the high towers. Now that summer is starting to come, and the weather is warming up, the freezing towers of the Seaward Manse are no longer freezing, and in fact, it's quite pleasant as a breeze blows through all the various cracks and windows in your decrepit dormitory. The next day, so you do get a full rest, and you've learned a few things from your trials and tribulations. Therefore, the leveling that I had you do between games happens overnight. But in the morning, you receive word bright and early that your presence is to be expected at a hearing that is going to be immediately held on the events of yesterday. And you are to attend.
They better be giving us a medal.
Yes, maybe they are. You're not exactly sure, but the words disciplinary hearing are in the letter, so you're pretty sure it's not an award.
if I have to go back, the tribe is going to be very bad.
So Opal was not with you last time, but Opal, you see them return beat and covered with dust and dirt and bloodied, and you hear their tale. So what do you say to them?
Sounds like I missed an exciting time. Damn, I wish I was there. What happened?
So exciting, it almost killed some of us.
Well, you're still here, so you're okay.
Be glad that you weren't there, my friend.
No. Need to be there for these exciting times.
I start humming the tune.
I was going to say the same thing. I start humming it too. I was same thought. I was going to start humming it too.
No,
Don't do that.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there either, so I don't know if they've seen me yet.
This is tune you're humming.
Oh, you'll find out.
Yes, this is rather unsettling.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know about it, okay?
Well,
I think everybody just needs to calm down.
It appears for our troubles we've been summoned to a disciplinary hearing.
Lionel.
You too?
Yes, Opal and Lionel are also
never mind.
being summoned.
Oh, wonderful.
The wording of your summons is kind of like almost like guilt by association.
Yeah.
Clown house.
Really, it's pretty trumped up charges, but nevertheless, you are being summoned since you were involved in the whole Kelvin Thorn incident and the mimic and the extra dimensional space.
And brought back his shoe.
It had his foot.
And his foot, yes, his foot.
And his foot.
So he could be properly buried.
Yes, we wanted to. Well, I gather that once again we are in trouble because this place hates us. So that being said, I'm ready to attend. I am an excellent character witness, and if things go very poorly, I'll just transform into some cute animal, and they'll just melt in my hands.
Literally turn into a puppy. That would be.
I will
awesome.
turn into a dog or a puppy if you'd like. Anything really, anything to help you out, friends, because I don't want to get expelled either.
We're completely innocent of any wrongdoing, and incidentally, I hope they don't find the cursed idol lurking in my trunk underneath my extra blanket.
Well, of that, we're not innocent.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
I've never heard of such an idol.
Yes.
Brought a cursed item into our place.
Technically, I didn't bring it in.
It was a gift.
It was brought to him.
Can you tell it's actually cursed though?
Yes,
Yes,
it makes you nauseous. when
very,
you touch it.
very much. It's extraordinarily cursed. I've rarely heard of an item more cursed.
Oh,
Pretty
wonderful.
bad.
It's really
Pretty
nice
bad.
that you had it.
It would have been rude to turn away the gift, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
So you are summoned to the meeting. When you enter, you see that you are brought in before a panel. At the center of the panel is Lore Master Janusi himself.
This
the
is
head of
bad. This is
Candlekeep
very bad.
Library.
Awful, actually.
You see to his left is this sour-faced Tellus Avost, which is your cranky magic teacher.
That's a reader.
Hey, boss.
There is a wizened gnome who is introduced as Master Scribe Visa Cream. He represents the Avowed. And there is an elven woman, very short in stature, kind of tight-fitting leathers. She is introduced only as Patron Lawson. Nothing else. And then you see the tribunal is joined by the bookworm himself, the ancient green dragon-born first reader of Candlekeep, Skoda Valinesta. And Skoda, you know, is the person very revered. He's said to know everything. There
Well,
it is.
then he must know our innocence. We'll be fine.
Oh,
Especially
you would
mine.
hope. You would hope. But he's the one in charge of bringing all the new books into Candlekeep.
Oh, so it's his fault the book was here.
So that, well, you could go ahead and accuse him. See how that works out.
I think that's
yes.
I think that's a good idea for Radley.
No.
So you are asked to sit in these rather uncomfortable-looking wooden chairs that are set up before the council, and they look at you, and you see that it's Tellus Devost who takes the lead, and he looks almost gleeful. He's like, "The charges before you are gross, malicious destruction of library property, endangering printed materials, use of fire spells within the library, and callous disregard for life."
May I say something?
He looks at Lore Master Janusi, and Janusi just nods. Lady Soraya, you will have a chance to speak, but if you have something to say, you could say it now.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. About the books. The books were going to kill us. That is all. Thank you.
You see, they all kind of look at each other. Well, Lord Master Janusi says, "It seems we've gotten a report from Scribe Varner about what has occurred there, but we'd like to hear your version of the story as well. Please tell us, how is it that you came to destroy the annex of the Candlekeep Library?"
If I may, my name is Brother Ven. I am very happy to be here.
They know who you
so
are. You're on
very
bloody
gracious.
trial.
I do want to say that this we were simply undertaking our studies, and somehow this malicious being found us.
Not
This
just
second
us.
time. Is this
Not
what you're
just us.
talking about?
It was attacking everybody in the entire facility.
Making
Oh,
people attack each other, and it was not pretty.
Yes, and
And-
if I may say, this is the second time the books tried to kill us.
True.
Just saying.
You see, Avost is like, "See, so she should not be here in the library. The books are trying to kill her. Feel free to leave."
Oh my god.
Settle down now. Settle down, Janusi says. He says, "Well, yes, Mr. Radley, that's
Yes, I would like to say something. We did not willfully seek to destroy any property. We were merely defending not only ourselves, but there were other lives that were at stake, other people that had fallen prey to this evil, cursed, mechanical tome that, forgive me, great readers, you seem to have had no control or knowledge of previously, for the book was clearly not properly kept away from those that it might corrupt and expose. You should also, if you have not collected statements from, oh, I don't know, Galeby and Crinkle, the Crinkle, yes, and what was the other
Ebner.
character's name? Cthulhu, yes, and yes, who was Galeby's father? What was
Ebner.
yes,
Ebner.
him as
Ebdor,
well.
Ebner.
Ebner.
They will all stand as witnesses that we did not seek to destroy books. We sought to save all their lives and ensure that the infection did not spread elsewhere. In fact, we should be receiving medals, I say quite confidently, with like a single
Hear, hear.
tear rolling down my cheek.
You see that at this point, Janussi is handing written statements down the line. Like he's kind of mumbles under his breath. These are the written statements from the people he's talking about. Says, yes, well, nevertheless, you did bring down a several thousand-pound statue to crush this being.
Because it was the only
Whoa,
way
really?
it was the
Damn.
only way we could vanquish it.
Yes. The tale of the mechanical book, which we got to work, showed that the only way to destroy the spirit was to crush it with a stone. And we managed to make the mechanics of the storytelling book run, and that's how we saw that the crushing of the spirit by a large stone was the only way to do it. And we tried it, and it wreaked much destruction, but Brother Ven was right, and it did actually vanquish the spirit.
Okay, so I'm going to let whoever's better at persuasion, either Radley or Grim, make a check with advantage. Since
I have
you
a
are.
+5.
I have a plus nothing.
Okay. Looks like Radley is leading the argument here.
Rolling with advantage. The better roll is a 14 + 5 for a total of 19.
Okay. So it seems pretty clear that you've got some people on the committee who are kind of nodding their heads, looking at the statements carefully. And then you have a number of people who are just stuck with their really pissed off expressions on their face and just kind of scowling at you. Not surprisingly, Tellus Devost is one of them. The gnome master scribe Visa Crean is not pleased with you. Patron Lawson, she's very difficult to read. She just kind of sits there stone-faced. And the bookworm himself actually also seems rather put out by the whole situation. And he says, well, excuse me, but I do understand there were extenuating circumstances, but as you know, Janussi, I did not want these young people in our library to begin with. They are not avowed. They are not on the path to avowed. I do not understand why they are here. And nevertheless, regardless of circumstances, these charges are egregious. And I see not how we could not expel these young people from our library. And a couple of the people on the board say, here, and they kind of pound their fists. And, well, have you any more to say, says Janussi.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Should we have just let this thing out and infect the entire library, the entire academy? I mean, that's what was going to happen, to the point where our senior locked us in place to do battle with this thing so that it couldn't get out and infect everyone with its magical siren song.
I do not think one of my scholars would have locked you into do battle, as you say, but to quarantine you until a more sensible, peaceful resolution could come to pass.
A peaceful resolution with a spirit that was bent on dominating us into destroying each other?
Well, there are sometimes a price to pay for peaceful solutions.
Grim tried to kill me too.
That's true. It took control of me, and I actually struck two of my classmates, or two of my compatriots.
He
That I can
scary.
believe, says Tellus.
And certainly, if we can forgive him for his transgressions, then perhaps all of you can forgive us for ours.
And also, Opal and Lionel weren't even there. They didn't do
Thank
anything.
you.
Why are they here?
We're not there.
Actually, yeah, I'm actually
Your
gonna ask
charges
a
are different,
question.
and they stem from your involvement in another incident involving the death of a student.
Well, listen, we
Is this about the soda machine? Because it wouldn't give me back my copper piece, and it just fell. All right.
There were also killer books there too.
Yeah, actually,
There's a
killer furniture.
portal
I actually,
and
I
a
actually,
mimic.
I don't really know why I'm here. To be perfectly honest with you, if you,
Your part in this is been recorded as well, says the bookworm.
well, all right, I guess, I don't have a statement because I really don't know what happened. I've gotten the shortened version of it all, but I believe if my friends here and our classmates here were looking to save the library, I believe that they would be more willing to save the library from some kind of threat that might damage us all and hurt us all, as opposed to, I don't know, using, I guess, rather what you would consider to be like, I don't know, lack of judgment. I believe that they felt that that was the only option to save their friends and this
But as you
entire
said,
library.
you were not there.
Yes, but I'm a
says-
character
says
witness. I'm a
You
character.
are here to be tried for different charges.
Oh, great. Now, what are those charges? Can you please read them to me? I would like to know what I'm being charged for.
Involvement in the death of another student.
Wasn't involved in the death of the other student. What are you talking about?
We will see. We will see.
Yeah.
So the tribunal kind of drags on for the better part of an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours. You're not sure, but you know by the end of it, you are physically and mentally exhausted at this this cross examination that is going on. You can see pretty clearly that it doesn't really matter what you say. There are the majority of the people on this committee are dead set at getting you out of the library. So it finally comes time for a vote, and the vote is almost unanimous, aside from Lore Master Janusi, who does not cast his vote, to have you expelled from the library. So Master Janusi finally stands at the conclusion of everybody reading their decisions on the various charges, and Lore Master Janusi stands and he says, well, seems I've heard from my peers, and they have spoken in no uncertain terms that the party is to be expelled from Candlekeep Academy. Luckily, I do not answer to this academy, since what I say is law here at Candlekeep Academy and Candlekeep Library. And you can see already people are starting to puff up and get looking at him. And he says, my take on this is that the students here possibly saved lives here at the academy, and as such, they will not be expelled, but will, however, continue their academic probation.
Oh,
Yes.
And will work over this summer restoring the Firefly cellar under the direction of Senior Scribe Varner.
Well, that's better than working at the ice cream shop, I'll tell you that much.
this is just like that play, The Breakfast Guild, that we saw in Baldur's Gate.
Yes, quite.
The breakfast guild, I love it. So there's a huge uproar, but Janusi just kind of silences them. You see that he doesn't seem to entertain many questions about his authority here at Candlekeep Library. And he says, as for the charges of Opal and Sir Lionel here, those are to be dismissed immediately. They had no part in this, and their involvement in the death of the student has already been spoken about. They cannot be tried twice for this matter.
Yes, they call that double jeopardy.
Thank you.
I feel that they have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you see there is a great deal of uproar and some very unhappy people.
I turn into a puppy.
So the members of the council kind of file out, and as they do, you see John. You're very perceptive. You see a little exchange happens between Patron Lawson and Lore Master Janusi.
Okay.
You see the patron woman kind of just looks at him and gives an almost like shake of the head, like seriously, and he kind of like does an almost imperceptible shrug, and then she files out with the rest.
That's interesting. Did you guys catch that?
No, I'm not very perceptive. What happened?
What was that?
Yes,
Oh,
what happened?
once we're out, once we're away, I'll let them know that about that little exchange. So that means she must be pretty influential
Seems so.
because we've never heard of her before, as far as I know.
No, you've never seen her or heard of her. All right, so with great deal of relief, you walk out of the building, the large courthouse area where you were tried, and the summer is before you. You still have some finals to take, though. So we're going to go ahead and let's see how you guys do in your classes. All right.
Oh, I'm gonna get an A+ in
All right. So we're going to start with let's see. Let's start with military history of Toril. That's the one your paper. that you were working on.
Did we get an extension on the paper?
Yes, you do wind up getting an extension on the paper. So go ahead and everybody give me an intelligence check.
All right.
Oh,
Here we go.
right.
Just straight
up
intelligence.
Straight up intelligence. We'll start with Radley.
Yeah.
I think we
I have rolled a 3, as in the number before 4, and
but the one
plus-
after 2.
plus 3 is a 6.
6. Okay. So you fail military history.
I demand trial by combat. I'll show you I can pass military history.
You can put an
Professor.
F under military history or F minus.
I also have achieved the same grade as Radley.
Wonderful. Maybe you didn't get an extension.
Oh, sorry, Professor. I'm sorry I failed your paper. I was too busy saving lives, remember?
Lady Soraya, what did you get?
I don't know how this happened, but I got a nat 20 plus
Natural 20.
plus a 1 modify, so I have a 21.
All
I
right.
think-
So
I think we were working on it together.
I'm not exactly sure what happened. You got a good score, nat 20?
I was working with green.
I got a modified 22.
I cheated off green.
Maybe we worked on it together. We have the same piece.
Sure, we worked on it together.
Now, this is what I was thinking. Is there any way to cheat? Can I help my classmates out? Can we help our classmates out?
Well,
since they're struggling so
you
poorly.
could easily have cheat and plagiarize until they came up with this spell called Turn It In. And now, as soon as you plagiarize, it comes up as like a red glowing underline on your
Yeah,
paper.
we
So he
went.
just helped me. He just helped.
All right. So what did you get, Opal?
Got 18.
18. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And Mike, can you tell me what you got?
Oh yeah, Lionel rocks it with a nice even 13.
13. All right. Well, that's a C. So you passed at least.
Hey, listen,
with
that's
an
better than the past,
18,
my friend.
18, you get an A minus. So that's pretty good, Opal, an A minus. And you get proficiency with the history skill as it applies to military history.
Okay.
Okay, so you can add that as a skill. You get a proficiency bonus, military history.
Okay.
You guys who got a modified 20 and better actually get expertise in military history.
Wow.
So you get 1.5 times your proficiency bonus making checks on military history. The
I
rest
know.
of you really got nothing out of the class. I'm sorry.
Sounds familiar. Sounds familiar.
That's fine.
Okay, so
This tracks.
alchemical potions. Your instructor, Treville Holton. So you guys already kind of did this. So if at the midterm when you created healing potions, if you failed to do so, you're going to make this roll with disadvantage. If you were able to make a basic healing potion, you're able to make this roll straight up. And if you made a higher level healing potion, you make it with advantage.
Great.
All right.
Okay, so alchemical potions. Let's hear it. All right. Let's start with Opal this time.
Is this intelligence again?
Intelligence. Yeah, these are all going to be intelligence. That's okay.
I got a 1.
Oh, 1. Okay. Were you able to make a potion before?
No.
No. Okay. So you still can't do it. You are terrible.
Flew right in my face.
You nearly poisoned yourself.
Oh,
Nice.
great. Much better with history.
Natural 1. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
You actually drink your healing potion and you wind up getting hair on your hands, on the palms of your hands.
I think that's a boy problem.
No, it's a girl problem for you. And you need to actually shave because it doesn't disappear.
Oh, gross.
I mean, once you shave it, it's gone. You hope.
I hope.
All right. Go ahead.
Maybe they're
Grim.
itchy.
Grim, what'd you get?
Oh, I did awesome. I got a 6. I had to roll with disadvantage because I never made a potion before.
You
And
still can't brew a
I
potion.
got a modified 6.
Perfect.
So yeah.
All right, Lady Soraya,
I got a 4.
a 4. You too are. Oh, you guys. Maybe you're I would blame the teacher at this point. There's too
Yes.
many.
I also rolled a 4.
Wow. You guys are really going to get kicked out just based on academics.
Potions are not
Bradley?
a thing.
Radley is good at potions. I rolled a 17.
A 17. Okay, so you're still capable of making a greater healing potion.
Nice.
At half the price.
Yep.
And Mike, I should say.
That's a
Lionel.
15. That's a 15 there, James.
A 15. All right. So a 15, you have basic proficiency. So you're able to make a basic healing potion for half.
Cool.
Awesome.
So little hot sauce, little vinegar.
Yep. All right. Arcane Theory. So this is the one, same thing. This is your no, sorry, this is not the spellcasting one. This is just Arcane Theory. So go ahead and give me rolls. Anybody who gets a 15 or better, let me know.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
Apparently, school does not agree with tieflings.
Don't be racist.
Another nat 20. Oh, not, sorry. 1.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Wow. You guys are
Yeah.
not great at this stuff.
I'm
Anybody
very
get a
bad at
15
this,
or
but
over?
not as bad as Opal.
All right. So what'd you get, Grim?
21. It's modified.
21. Okay. So did you already have Arcana as a skill?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you get expertise in Arcana.
All right, cool.
And who else?
That's
Lionel?
That's a 22 there, James.
22. So do you have proficiency in Arcana?
I do.
Now you have expertise in Arcana.
Very nice.
Excellent. That's
So my,
right up my alley.
my
Anybody else
proficiency.
get a 15 or over?
What are our proficiency bonus right now is 2s, right?
Yeah, so it'd be +3. It's rounded down.
Yeah.
Spellcraft. So spellcraft is where you learned your cantrip, and that your reader your instructor is the great reader Silvirus of Akis. So go ahead and make a roll. If you already learned a cantrip, you have nothing further to gain from this class, but you get one more roll. To
Not
see
with
if you
disadvantage,
learned
just a straight roll.
We'll do a straight roll
Straight roll.
because great reader Silvira is a great
Okay.
teacher.
I got an 18 on this one.
18. Okay, so you may choose from from light, mage hand, or prestidigitation.
No.
I will choose mage hand.
Did anybody else who didn't get a cantrip the first time?
What? I think I got a cantrip the last time.
No, I got one already.
No,
Yeah.
I did not get a cantrip this time.
No.
I got a 19. So
But if you see if you have a mage cantrip, see if you have either mage hand,
I don't think I do.
prestidigitation, or light. If you don't, you
No,
can add one of those.
I don't.
I wonder if there's a
one
way
of
to
those.
add it in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I don't know how you can add a
No,
spell.
there is.
I just
You might
read
have-
it. I
might
just
just have
read
to
it
put it in your
notes.
notes.
Put it in
Yeah, that's fine because it's a cantrip anyway.
Yeah, I rolled a 7 and didn't learn how to make light, just like last time.
Yeah, I got light now.
Opal?
Oh, I got 1 last time.
Okay. And Soraya, you got one last time?
No, yeah. What, a cantrips?
No.
Cantrip?
Did you get
Yeah,
one?
you didn't
from-
get one.
No, no.
I don't think you got
Oh,
one
yeah,
from
but I
me.
rolled a 1 now. Anyway.
Oh, so you're terrible. School is not going so greatly.
Except for military history.
But I'm an
Yeah.
expert in military history. Thanks to Green.
All right, so you guys are really knocking your academic probation right out of the park, let me tell you. Nevertheless, you are not immediately escorted off the premises, and school winds down. Most of the students leave for the summer, return to their homes. You, however, are going to be sweating in the Firefly cellar, trying to restore some order to this huge disaster. When you go down, you see Senior Scribe Varner is down there, and you hear from her that she actually spoke at great length to try to make sure that you guys didn't get in too much trouble for what happened, and seems very pleased to hear that you managed to get off with really just a slap on the hand, and she seems quite surprised and a little bit shocked about that. So it's the last week. People are finishing up their finals, and you guys have already started working in the Firefly cellar. And Opal, you get called into a conference with Feminor Scrivenbark, who is your great reader and your counselor, as it were, here. So when you go in, it's probably mid-morning. You see that Feminor is drinking wine as usual, and you come in and he kind of waves you forward with his glass. You're like, "Oh, come in, Opal. Sit.
Hi.
Can I get you some wine?"
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, right. You're like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway, so seems like you and your friends have been busy making quite a name for yourself here, aren't you?
Well, they were busy last time. I kind of just hung out in the dorms.
And do you regret that, having not been there?
Yeah, I wish I was. It sounded like a lot of fun.
Well, you certainly have a taste for adventure then, don't you?
I do.
I sense that about you. Well, I have a little bit of a, let's call it a summer assignment for you. Yes?
Okay.
You
I'm
are going
listening.
to have me next year. You're going to have my folklore class, folk tales.
Sounds awesome.
And, seems you have a kind of a love for books of the adventure sort, right?
I do.
We are two of a kind then, he says, and he kind of gestures around himself, and you see all the books on all the bookshelves that are just, groaning under the weight. And he says, well, you see, you are inquisitive by nature, my dear, as am I, and I appreciate that. I ask that you, in your work at the Firefly Cellar, go through the books there. Find the ones that are folklore in nature. Find a story, a good story, a story that maybe you're not sure if it's true or false or what the real ending is. And go ahead and find something out for me. Find a story. Tell me a good story. If you tell me a good story, then we will be on great terms starting next semester. And please,
Okay.
by all means, include your friends. I'm curious to see what you discover.
All right. I like the sound of this. We can do this. Absolutely.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Good. He lifts his glass and kind of toasts you, finishes it off, pours himself another one. Well, off you go to work then.
All right.
Have fun sorting books.
Well, I will have a good time with this. I think I will.
See, he goes back to his little desk. He has a little halfling-sized desk. He sits down behind and he lights his long stem pipe, puts up his feet, starts eating grapes and drinking wine.
Oh, to be a halfling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're working in the Firefly Library for probably the better part of a 10-day already. You've been looking, and you've come across a few folklore books, but so far, really nothing that's really struck you as something worthy of further investigation. But nevertheless, you guys are working under the direction of Varner, and she is a hard worker and a tough taskmaster. She really keeps you guys busy the entire time you're there, and it's really hot down in the Firefly cellar now that summer has officially begun here on the Sword Coast. And one day you're working when you hear a familiar voice behind you. It's like, well, how is it going here? And you turn in time to see Lore Master Janusi is actually standing at the bottom of the spiral stairs.
Hello.
Oh,
You
geez.
see
Hello.
Scribe Varner looks completely put out. Lore Master, what are you doing here? What is the matter? Can I help you with something? He's like, calm, Varner. It's okay. I'm just here to speak to some of my students here. If you'll give us a moment, please. She's like, Of course, she says. And she
Anyone-
kind of-
Yes, sir. We're just busy not lighting things on fire and stacking things nicely and not
Yes,
smashing things.
making sure that the books stay nice and
Yes,
cold.
and certainly not killing any fellow students.
No, definitely
Or-
not. Never happened.
or any monsters or creatures of any kind.
No.
Correct.
Well,
Sometimes I transform into a spider to put the books back on the shelves when I get bored, but other than that, I swear.
that's useful.
It's been very
This is great.
uneventful.
Yes, it's been a quiet summer.
Good, good.
Almost
Well.
too quiet.
He says, "Sit with me. Let's talk for a moment."
Oh boy.
So
Here we go.
he talks a little bit about your finals and some small talk, but then immediately you can see it's very superficial. And he says, "You know, I picked some of the students here myself. You happen to be some of the ones that I picked personally.
Oh,
You must know by now that you are not among the greatest scholars of your generation. Some of you, certainly. Some of you had other traits that I was looking for.
mm,
Really letting us down nice and easy, huh?
Well, that's not to say that each of you isn't smart in your own right, but
right.
Well, you
I
can't
see where this
judge
is heading.
everyone.
You're hiring us to be your private death squad, and I want to say I'm in.
you are very perceptive.
Janusi's army. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's be bad at books but good at killing.
As well. Let's not get ahead of ourselves now, shall we?
All right, I'm sorry. I'm very excited.
No, and we do not mean students.
No, or books actually.
Well,
only
some
bad
books.
Yeah, or books.
Well,
The books that were coming right at us.
you were picked for your inner fire, your drive. There's something about each of you that spoke to me when I read your applications.
Oh, that's nice.
And I don't mean that literally, Brother Van.
Yeah. Mm, That
Oh.
was, I was pondering that.
This guy's great at the backhanded compliments. I'll tell you that much.
As well, as you know, the world is a dangerous place, and even here in the library is a dangerous place sometimes, as you've witnessed yourself. Says the ranks of Avowed provide me with plenty of academics. I did not start this academy to have more academics in the library. I was hoping to find a small group of well-rounded students that were exemplary in a variety of areas, not just academics.
Lady Soraya is very good at military history.
I'm an expert.
Well, good. That perhaps could come in handy, I think. But nevertheless, it's really, you have shown a bit of mettle that I did not expect such young people to show so quickly. It says, but it shows that I picked wisely from you. And I'm hoping maybe you can perform some tasks for me now and again that will keep you, make use of your particular talents.
I have a question.
Yes, Lady Soraya.
Is this gonna get us expelled?
No, I'll do all I can to try to not get you expelled, as I have done on two
What exactly-
occasions already.
What's all you can exactly? Like, is that like 100% guarantee?
Quadruple secret probation.
I'm
Yes,
doing
'cause,
the best I can, but you are making it rather difficult.
I mean, some of us,
Okay, I won't say anything else.
some of us have been put on summer detention for reasons they're not sure why. I'm here.
Oh, guilty by association.
Yes, so if some way this
Perhaps,
could help,
or
our
perhaps I
probation-
allowed this to happen so that you would be with your friends here.
Well, that's lovely. I'd rather not go home, so thank you so much for doing this for me. I have yet to be murdered by books, and hopefully that won't happen soon.
Yes, hopefully not. But I've brought a few things, he says, and you notice that he has a backpack on, and he kind of shoulders this.
What's up,
backpack
fellow kids?
and puts it on the table. He says, I have a few gifts that maybe will help you be a little bit more prepared if something should happen, something should arise here again at the library.
We do run into the strangest circumstances.
Quite
I'm
frankly.
very enthusiastic to see.
You see, he takes out a platinum, kind of like an oversized platinum coin, and he flips it to you, Brother Ven.
Huh.
And
What
he
is
says, I
this?
thought particularly of you when I found this. I knew that we had it. It hasn't been put to much use. And you look at it, it's a coin. And on one side of the platinum coin is a shield with the symbol of Tyr on it.
Ah,
And on the-
this is a symbol of Tyr.
Yes, look at the other side. On the other side, you see a likeness of Tyr with the cloth across his eyes, the maimed god Tyr.
This is fabulous. I
So,
thank
yes.
you. I thank you immensely for this symbol.
It says, read the words on the head side. You see there are some words written in common, and the words are Defensus Maximus.
Defenses.
Maximus.
Okay.
You say that?
Defensus Maximus.
You see the coin enlarges very quickly, surprising you, and you wind up dropping it on the floor. You see that it is a round shield with the symbol of Tyr on the front of it.
Oh, this
That's
is
amazing.
absolutely fascinating. I don't understand what magic this is, but it is I am speechless. Thank
It
you.
says,
You have my utmost gratitude.
It says, put it to good use. Keep it in your pocket. Huh?
Yes, I will.
It says, oh, Defensus Minimus to put it back into coin.
Defensus Minimus.
It shrinks back down into coin in your hand.
Ooh, we could play such good jokes with that.
So I'm assuming this is a shield, yes? When it's
It is a +1 shield.
oh, nice. Okay.
Does it work when I say it?
You have to be holding it.
With my
Otherwise,
mage
that would
hand?
be hilarious.
With my mage hand?
So when it's in his pocket, you constantly Defensus Maximus.
I can manipulate things in people's pockets with my mage hand. It's part of my abilities.
Yeah, you have to be holding the coin. So yeah, maybe you could give it a try. Should be interesting.
I won't do it now.
He says, the other thing he says is the backpack itself is another gift. He says it holds more than you think, and he kind of reaches into one of the central compartment, and he pulls out what appears to be a suit of studded leather armor, kind of a piece at a time, and puts it out on the table. He's like, the armor, that's glamored studded leather armor. He's like, if you put it on, you can make it look like anything you want,
Oh,
Cool.
like
fascinating.
clothing. It's useful. And he kind of picks up the backpack and kind of stands it up. He's like, you could store lots of stuff in here. He's like, it has some extra dimensional spaces. That is a handy haversack.
Cool.
So you have a suit of glamored studded leather armor, which counts as +1 leather armor that can appear as anything you want. Clothing or another different suit of leather armor, a different suit of armor or anything. Just the clothing, though. It doesn't change your appearance. And the other is a handy haversack, which can hold, I believe, 80 pounds in the main part and 20 pounds of each of the side pockets and never weighs more than 5 pounds.
Oh wow,
Cool.
that is handy.
He's like, and this, he says, and he pulls a scroll tube out of, like, the little pocket is like this big, and he just pulls this long tube out of it, and he hands it to you. He hands it to you, Radley. And he says, here's a couple of spells you might need in case of emergency.
Oh,
It is a Dispel Magic, 5th level, and a Teleport.
Wow.
Like, in case of emergency only, you understand. And keep in mind, you can't teleport into Candlekeep Library. You know that, right?
I do.
So don't try.
Wow. All right. So how does the studded leather work, sir?
You just put it on. You'll have to get used to it and tune to the. Hold on, let me double check that. See if it's a tune. I think you have to attune to it, and there is a password. You can look up Lambert Stud Leather.
It can't be the same as any of your other passwords.
Right, and it has to have at least one number, one symbol.
Then I
One
shall
lo-
choose the number 1 and an exclamation point.
One uppercase, one lowercase, etc.
It does not require attunement, so you can just put it on.
Does anybody
wow.
does anybody wear this type of armor but me? Or no?
I've already got a shield, so you should probably take it.
And Opal, you wear heavier armor, right?
No, right now she only has a chain shirt.
Yep.
I think the studded leather +1 would be the same armor class as the chain shirt.
I think
no,
I
actually, I think it would be she'd be one higher because she would get to use her full dex.
I think I could wear studded leather too, but it's a waste on the druid.
Well, the only reason I'm thinking about me using it is because I can use it to infiltrate places.
Exactly.
So, but I don't want to just grab it and you know, and take it, you know. So
I mean that was
Or
my
about-
first thought was that, you know, give it to use to sneak into places and to change your clothes if you need to. I mean, it works well for someone who's going to be doing anything that might require stealth or subterfuge.
yeah, because I have no problem scouting ahead and all that. But if you guys are okay with that, so
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Ven is in the corner just repeating.
Defensus maximus. Defensus minimus.
All right.
It just keeps doing it. It doesn't run out of. It's amazing.
Does when you have pluses on your armor, does it affect your saving throws?
No.
No.
Just AC.
Okay.
So that'd be 13 plus your dex.
Yep. All right, that's very cool. Also, I mean, he's still here, right? Lore
Yeah.
Master Janussi.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for these this amazing equipment and items of, you know, deep magic and lore compared to what we are used to. But we also I want to thank you, and I think we all want to thank you for number one, choosing us, which we didn't know you chose us, and number two, for standing up for us and not letting us be expelled. I mean, it is my dream since I'm a child to be here. So I appreciate very much that you've even allowed me into the walls. So whatever you need me to do, I'm more than happy to do.
That's the kind of attitude I'm looking for.
Very nice.
+1 shield.
Ditto.
Ditto. All right. So Janussi leaves unless you have any more questions for him. He says, "Don't worry, you'll earn those items eventually."
Oh, great.
So you return to your grueling work. You see that senior scribe Varner comes down and she looks at you guys very quizzically, kind of eyeballs the haversack in the middle of the table, but she doesn't say anything. Goes about her business.
That we're stuffing with valuable books.
80 pounds worth of books.
So it's like
So
2
yeah.
books.
So you can pack whatever you want into that haversack. You should know that if you overload it, it will spill. If you put in anything sharp, it will rupture. So if you're going to put a sword or anything like that in there, you have to make sure it is sheathed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Perhaps this should be a good place for something I've been hiding.
Yes. One. I have one request. I often, sometimes we venture out into the world and unprepared. Chainmail would be a tremendous assistance to me and to therefore the group. But it does weigh 55 pounds.
We like when you don't die, so that's good.
Very
Keep in
well
mind
then.
whatever weapons you want to put in there. I'm sure Opal will want a couple of rapiers in there, and Brother Ven, you're going to want a mace in there.
Yeah. Warhammer only weighs 2 pounds though, so it's not too
Yes,
bad.
and you have the 80-pound central and the 2 20-pound side packs.
A Warhammer weighs 2 pounds?
According
That
to
doesn't seem
D&D
right.
Beyond.
That's a typo.
Oh no, there's the small warhammers which look like a pick basically, but
That's
they're-
it.
2 pounds?
well, I mean, like for example, a lot of swords that you actually a lot of one-handed swords only weigh, you know, between 2 and 4 pounds, for example.
Hammer should be heavier, right?
Yeah.
My
That's
work
on my
hammer
sheet.
weighs 5 pounds at least.
Okay, let's see. What does this one weigh? No, it's like even hammers +1 weigh 2 pounds according to D&D Beyond.
Yeah, well, the plus doesn't add any weight.
That's what I'm saying. They all weigh 2 pounds, so it's like a thing.
No, I'm sure it is. It's just,
Yeah.
I think that they're doing
Well, I
like the
suppose-
small metal-headed hammer, not like the big,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
Thor type
Yeah.
Mjolnir type things.
definitely not. the
Well,
Thor
a
hammer.
mace
That would
weighs
be a
4
little heavier.
pounds. So even if it was a mace, it would still only weigh marginally more.
And
Ahem. Nope, never mind. I thought I
Mjolnir
had
is,
it.
is Mjolnir's actually very light.
You know what? I stand corrected. I asked Google how much does a hammer weigh in pounds, and the average hammer weighs like 1 pound and 8 ounces.
Yeah.
Somehow that is how much a hammer weighs. That makes no sense to me, but okay.
I mean, I got to tell you, when I was making a knife on a anvil and I was using like a 3-pound hammer, that thing was heavy, especially when you're banging on it all day. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like a 5-pound sledge, that's a serious hammer.
Yeah, that takes a significant amount of effort to wield.
Yeah, it's a serious hammer.
Yeah.
Okay. So Opal, you're working in the library,
Okay.
and eventually you come across this book. It's a rather nondescript book, kind of just a black cover. Along its spine, it says a deep and creeping darkness embossed on the thin spine. Shows minimal signs of wear and tear other than a few pages that were carelessly creased. The work is neat, but not flawless, containing a couple of spelling errors that you catch and some ink blotches. Does not look like the work of a professional scribe. And you start to kind of peruse this book, and you instantly get sucked into it because of the style of the writing. It is very kind of flowery, and you're not sure if it's factual, but you know the language is very extravagantly dramatic. Okay, so a deep and creeping darkness tells a tale of a mountain village whose residents were missing over the course of several months. The book presents a series of vignettes allegedly collected from those who were there, survivors, traveling merchants, and in secondhand accounts, residents of the nearby settlements. It's unclear whether it's a fictional tale, folklore, or history. You read about this town called Vermeulen, which was established after settlers discovered a platinum mine, a vein in the mountainside. And Vermeulen did a booming business in raw ore and refined metal for about a decade, as far as you could tell, about 70 years ago. It sounds like the village was very isolated. The mine was very isolated, and the harshness of the climate meant it never really grew that large, but it did a pretty booming business for at least a decade. People came and sold and traded wares and left again. The nearest civilized settlement was 3 days' ride at the base, towards the base of the mountain. And there were a couple of inhabitants named. There was a mayor named Leah Duvuzen, and a dwarf smith named Tormund and his wife Blindis. But you read about the incidents about 70 years ago when the mine collapsed, burying a bunch of workers under tons of rubble. 60 miners were underground that day, and most of them probably died instantly, but many more were trapped in the mines. In the end, they survived, some of them for days or even weeks before they were rescued, or probably perished alone deep in the earth. 16 came out. They discovered bodies, and most of them, 11 bodies, were never found. And then in the wake of the catastrophe, you continue to read as another horror begins to plague the village as people start disappearing, starting with the survivors. Not all at once. Sometimes 2 or 3 will vanish in a single night, and then it could be a 10-day before another person vanishes. The unexplained differences terrified the remaining miners and the villagers, and eventually you read how the village, basically everybody either flees or disappears, with the mayor being the last one there, kind of going down with the ship, or whatever you want to say. The volume's writer muses over the decline of the village, speculating about the fate of its inhabitants. And sketched on the back page of the book is a rough map. And it takes a little bit of kind of figuring out, but it looks like these are the Cloud Mountains, which are to the south of Candlekeep, maybe maybe a 10-day ride. And the village of Marin is indicated, I should say, on the map. And then you can see there is a kind of a switchback trail that goes up to the mountains, and Vermilion is also there, indicated on the map.
Okay. Well, I think I found the book I was looking for. I don't know if it's real, fake, but it sounds like a good adventure to me. And it looks like it's not that far from here, wherever this took place.
Does
So-
this fall under the category of things we're protected doing?
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's okay. I know sometimes I go really fast and start to understand. What I meant to say was, are we protected if we go on this adventure? Like, are we going to get a spell?
Oh,
We
I don't
could,
know.
we could talk to you
I
know.
was told to find this.
it's a
Should we
school
check
assignment.
with Mr. Jachuchi?
Yes, maybe we should check with him before we go.
Okay.
Mr. Who?
Mr.
Chachuchi.
Chachuchi. Mr.
Um,
Chanuchi.
Chachuchi. That's what I
Chanuchi,
thought you said.
Mr. Charahuchi.
Lore Master Chachuchi.
That's what he said, right?
That's it. Nailed it.
Opal, which teacher gave you that assignment?
It was the folklore teacher, which I don't remember names. Sorry.
Scrivenbark.
Scribbin
Scribbin
Bar.
Bark. There you
Ah,
go. Scribbin Bark.
Scribbin, baby.
I mean, if we have permission from him to go, I don't see why it's why
Was
it would
that
be
the
a problem.
assignment? Was the assignment to go and
No, it was to
track it
find the
down?
book for him. So maybe I should give him the book first.
And then we just go
and
anyway.
Yeah. I like that. So,
You gonna check the book with him?
well, he wanted it, right?
Well, he wanted you to investigate it.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
and tell him a story, right?
Tell him the story.
Yeah.
Right now, you don't know the ending to the story, so it's not a good story.
Oh,
Well,
so
this
we have
isn't-
to.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Uh,
well, in order for this story to end, we got to go find out what actually happened. So maybe we should just go.
Maybe we're the end.
It's better than sorting books here.
That's right. Maybe
I
there's a
can
way
use
we
a
can.
breather.
You think we could get well, it's going to be what, a 20-day vacation from
20
our,
days. Wow.
from our work here, or mandatory. I don't even know why I'm here.
Like I said, guilty by
You're
association.
here because you
Yep.
killed Kelvin. We know the truth.
I already know. Why would I do that? I barely even knew the guy.
We all
killed
barely knew
Kelvin.
the guy.
We know
Well-
you laid that book on his bed, open to the passage.
That's true. That's true. I am quite the rascal.
Okay, so you do put in a request for a pass to investigate this. You meet with Feminor, and he looks over the book, and he's very excited. He's like, "This is perfect. He's like, "Go, I'll get you a pass." You and
Oh
your friends.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, at least we are official.
Nice.
Yes. That's good.
Do be careful.
Oh,
We will.
We won't be.
No, we will
No.
probably.
try.
Not at all.
So, So instead of a whole pass, we got a wilderness pass.
Yes.
There's the deep and creeping darkness. All right, so you take the book with you. It looks
Yes.
like you're going to need to get horses again, perhaps even rent.
Could
that,
I
rent that wagon.
find another map that could be, a little bit more updated, kind of compare the two?
Sure. Why don't you? Well, I mean, you have the library at your disposal, so I will say it doesn't take much effort to
Mhm.
find a copy of a map. In fact, if you pay 4 gold pieces, you can have one of the scribes make a copy of a Sword Coast map that you can keep.
Yeah, sure. Let's do
All
that.
right. Yeah. I mean, I have like 15 or 18 gold pieces that I picked up when we fought some those people with the cultists. So
Uh,
I didn't distribute it. I just have it for like expenses for us.
So yeah, I would say I meant to go into kind of D&D Beyond and just put gold in your accounts because Opal will have gold because she comes from a noble family.
I was
Lionel
gonna say,
will
put it on
have
my
gold.
tab.
Yeah, basically they have allowances. Obviously Grim, you have nothing. Sorry, Brother Ven has nothing. He comes from a monastery. and Lady Soraya has very little in the way of
Well, I've been grabbing everything I can to make sure that we have something when we need it.
And Radley, you know, you rely on Lionel's.
I
Yes, I
only
have whatever Lionel is willing to give me.
Right.
I only have this. Defensus Maximus.
Don't spend that now.
Defensus Minimus.
So you go ahead and rent a cart. You're gonna rent some horses again.
Are they going to do the same?
That guy's
thing?
not going to rent us anymore.
Yeah.
He wasn't too happy with you, but I mean,
Yeah.
you did bring back the horses in one piece.
They were just terrified.
They were just, they were shot.
Those horses were never the same after that.
In fact, he'd be willing to sell you those horses for a discount.
Let's do it.
Okay.
You want to buy Skittish and Frady Cat?
And
They
in a
got new
pinch,
names now.
Lionel is also a horse.
Thunder and Lightning are now Skittish and Frady Cat.
So I don't know if I can actually transform into a horse. I haven't tried it, but I'm down to try.
You can transform into a war horse if you want to do.
Oh well, you know what they say. I'm such an old war horse.
So you manage to rent a cart and you buy a couple of horses. It pretty much cleans both you and Opal out of your allowances.
Okay.
He does not rent you anything, so you have to buy both the cart and both horses, and that really puts a serious dent in your summer money. Nevertheless, you're hoping to find something of value, perhaps in your trip. If not, you can just slum it at the cafeteria.
We could always turn to brigandry.
Yes, you could always become brigands. So you start making your way
Sorry, Brother Ben.
down the Lion. What's the name of it? The Lion Path or something like that? The one that leads into Candlekeep? Not that it matters, but I want to know now. Now I need to know. The Lion Way to the Tradeway, Way of the Lion to the Tradeway. And there's kind of, even though the heat of summer is now upon you, there's some nice breezes coming off of the Sea of Swords that makes it travel pretty bearable, and compared to the stifling heat and darkness of the Firefly Cellar, anything is a huge improvement. So you start making your way down, and 4 days of camping on the road, you are really enjoying yourself. You see other people on the road going back and forth, and everything has been pleasant. And as you're bedding down on the fifth night, you hear a number of horses approaching. You hear the rattle of the creak of leather saddles and the kind of chink of chainmail armor and rattle of shields coming down the road as you're kind of pulling your wagon over to the side to find a place to camp.
Ooh.
What seems to be coming? It sounds like armed men.
Yes.
Does indeed. Do you want to do anything before they come into sight?
Well, we have a wagon. We can't really hide very well with the wagon, right?
I am wearing my chainmail, by the way.
Yes. So everybody, now that you're out of school, you can be wearing and carrying whatever it is that you came to school with, which is your basic starting equipment.
Okay.
Wow. Let's hope they're friendly. Quick, Grim, show some leg.
I'll go back to the wedding dress. I'll make the studded armor look like a wedding dress.
Excellent. Well done.
The studded armor into a wedding
I had
dress.
sent a text around to everybody that I was making the armor look like a wedding dress.
Oh, perfect. Great. So you guys just kind of pull over to the side of the road, and you see coming down the road, you see a number of guards led by what looks like maybe a captain of the guard or something. And they are wearing the colors of Baldur's Gate. And you see when they come into view, they kind of just wave, like, well met.
Yes.
Hello.
What are you young people doing on the road?
Oh, it's a
Anywhere.
Summer vacation.
yeah, it's a
We've-
road trip.
My name is Brother Ven, and we have been sent on a
No.
No, no.
Holiday.
He gets very excited.
It's a summer road trip with just a bunch of young people trying to experience the
an
world.
important errand.
Yes,
No.
yes, a very important errand to get involved in some calamity and fun.
To relax.
Yes.
James,
Good
what's
time.
another town that we could potentially be heading to on this road?
There's really not a whole lot to the south.
We're heading just generally into the
The
south.
Marin?
No, we're not
Marin,
heading
that's
there.
on
That's not
mine.
where we're going.
No?
Yes, it's
Marin, sure, I've heard of Marin.
yeah.
No.
We're on a pub tour.
Not tell them where we're going.
Why would you go to Marin?
We're not. We're
Any
taking a
place,
trip.
anywhere is better than when we've been.
Really? And where would that be?
Oh, Tribor, terrible place.
Awful.
Excuse me, I'm from Tribor.
Yes, that's what we took you out.
For the love of God.
You needed to leave.
You're dissing his turf. You're dissing his old neighborhood.
Hey, listen, everyone needs to get out and experience something outside of their neighborhood every now and again.
I'm from Tribe.
Yeah, tribe.
Tribe.
All right.
Where
so
you
they,
find-
they look,
where-
they look a little confused, and they're like, "It's a dangerous road."
Where do you find men going?
Yes.
Well, our job is to patrol the road.
Oh, road patrol.
I see.
I mean, are there any threats ahead that we need to know of?
Nothing that we haven't taken care of that we saw. But,
No, well, thank goodness. We are, after
So-
all, just a band of harmless teenagers.
That's quite right. We've never done
Oh.
anything wrong.
we were about to bed down for the night. Do you mind if we share your fire?
As long as you're not werewolves.
Ah, what a funny joke. yeah.
Immediately cast Moonbeam. No, I'm kidding.
Damn. All right. Well, hold on. I gotta get another stat tracker now.
Roll
Right.
for this.
I can
Ja-
throw-
James reveals the map.
That's
Actually, they were werewolves.
it. It's
All right, now they're
mini
not.
camp time.
Damn it. I'm gonna be a vampire.
Oh no, again.
So you share the fire, I suppose, with these soldiers. There are 4 of them, plus what looks like the captain. The captain's name is Tomas.
Hey, Tomas.
Give me let's see. He's got a decent insight here.
I'm not bad.
I believe I have a decent insight.
Yeah, you do. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ben. Give me an insight check.
A natural 1.
Ooh.
Yeah, you really like these guys, and these are probably the nicest guys you've ever met. You just keep showing them your shield. Look.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Defensus Maximus.
I'm gonna roll over. I'm gonna go over to Radley. You getting a weird vibe from these guys?
Well, I don't think they're from Rape and Pillage Incorporated, if that's what you mean, but we shouldn't be sharing any secrets with them.
Yeah, I don't think we should tell them about really anything. I think we should play dumb school students who are out on the road to experience the pub tour.
Well, we don't have to play it being dumb stupid.
Yes, I was going to say many of us will have no trouble in this regard.
Exactly. That's why I said. I
Lady
was,
Soraya, perhaps regale them with your knowledge of military history.
oh, it'd be great. Tell them what they've done.
I didn't retain a lot of that information.
Oh, she just
It was
wrote it in.
Grim helped me with it.
Ah, good for nothing cram sessions.
But I don't trust them either because I don't like strangers.
All right, so do we kill them now or kill them later?
Is there anything strange about them, James? Is there anything strange about them?
Not that you could tell. You want to give me an insight roll if you want.
I rolled an inside of an 18.
No.
Mine is only 15.
You're distrustful of them. You're not sure. They seem a little. You're not sure what their deal is, but they seem a little aloof, or something is going on that they're definitely
Right.
not showing their full
Like-
hand. You don't know if it's just because they've come across a bunch of teenagers basically in the middle of nowhere, and they're just feeling a little unsure about you, and that's kind of the feedback you
It's
get.
possible, yeah.
Uh,
So
are we-
I'm going to try to keep an eye on them, and I can read lips and stuff like that. So if I can pick up anything that way without being too obvious.
Can we outwardly tell they're from Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, they're wearing the uniforms at least.
Oh, all right. So what's the gate like this time of year?
Said, unfortunately, we're on the road here.
So you haven't been. So why? So the gate, Baldur's Gate, polices all these roads then.
Yeah, all
Wow.
the way,
Wow.
down south to the mountains and back.
Maybe
Wow.
we should change the subject. Who likes plays?
Oh, actually, what was that one play that you were talking about, Radley? We were talking
The
about
Breakfast Guild.
the
Oh, the
Breakfast.
Breakfast Guild.
I have
Classic.
not seen that one. Is
That's
it
a
good?
good one. It's
Yeah.
a classic.
It's,
That's
It's a
a
classic.
classic. It's a
I should
classic.
see it.
it's a modern
Yes.
classic. Yeah.
I
It's a
should
great,
see that.
great piece of theater art.
Yes.
It's playing on Waterdeep Community Theater.
Yes,
Oh,
that's right. Yes,
Oh.
Lord Hughes has some quite good plays.
Lord
yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
That's
So
great.
enough of that stuff. So, is there anyone
Yes.
getting tired?
I'm very sleepy, and I've actually brought a copy of Lord Hughes's 16th Candle that I'd like to read before bed. So I'm going to hop into the wagon. Good night, all.
Yeah, so I lean over to Brother Grimm and I whisper, "Who's
Brother
gonna
Grimm
keep an
or Grimm
I'm
or
sorry,
Ben?
Green, not you, Brother Bing.
Okay.
He's my friend. I call him Brother Brother Green. And I say, "Who's gonna keep an eye on these two characters?"
I mean, I tend to always keep watch,
What
and
if
I'm
you-
always watching everything that everybody does.
what if
I
you
Habit.
tend to sleep with one eye open too, so if you need me, just nudge me.
Yes.
Well, if you
okay.
like, I could transform into something small like a squirrel or a mouse, and I could climb up in a tree, and I could listen in on their conversation, see what they're all about, and then maybe drop an acorn or two on them because that just sounds like fun.
A little bit of poop if you want to.
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, why not? Want to keep
Just
it
for
authentic?
fun.
Yeah,
Sure.
want to keep it authentic.
So are you keeping watch through the night? Is some of you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will.
Yeah.
I will turn into. I will absolutely turn into a squirrel on my watch and watch from the trees.
Okay. So give me your watch order then.
I am hanging out with Tomas and telling him about Tribe War and all the local customs of Tribe War.
All right. So you're going to take the first watch then, or?
I guess. I mean, I don't even think that I'm aware that they need to be watched. So I'm just hanging out with them.
Should we
being
tell
annoying.
Brother Ben, or are we worried that he's going to go, those guys?
Yeah, no, we shouldn't. I don't think we should tell him. He's gonna mess it up.
Those guys are great. You should trust them.
All right. So what is the watch order?
Do we roll for that or do we just pick?
Brother Van is
No, I mean, we can just choose.
I'll go first.
All right, I'll go second.
first.
I'll go after.
Okay.
I'll do third.
No watch for me, thanks.
Grim, last watch.
Sure.
All right.
Most likely to be attacked.
All right, Lionel, it's on your watch. Give me a perception check. It is full dark. You are a squirrel.
That's right, baby.
Sentence is only heard in D&D.
So give me perception with disadvantage because you are kind of overlooking this dark, shadowy area with there is a fire going, but it's kind of burning low at this point.
I mean, squirrels got dark vision, right?
No.
Yes, Thomas. So tell me about Waterdeep. How is the climate? Is there adequate temples of Tyr in that area?
With disadvantage, I roll a 15.
15. Okay. So finally, Brother Ven settles down, and you can see Tomas looks noticeably relieved. And finally, like, I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. And you see that Tomas, the captain, kind of wanders over, and you see he's kind of looking around furtively, and he starts kind of like nudging at the haversack with the toe of his boot, kind of like looking around, and looks up, kind of bends down, and starts opening up the pockets of the haversack.
I drop an acorn on his head.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
What kind of attack is this? Just
A squirrel attack.
yeah.
Just
But
roll.
what
a
do I
d20.
roll? D20.
Yeah.
All right. So action. Oh, I can just roll a D20 here.
Roll a d20.
I don't add anything to it, right?
No, you're a squirrel.
There is that new superhero movie coming out that the superhero is a squirrel.
13. Squirrel girl.
13. Okay,
No,
so
it's actually a squirrel.
Oh,
kind of, obviously it doesn't do any damage, but you hit him right on the head, and it just
yeah.
he kind of looks up. Did he know you're turned into a squirrel? No, I assume no, right?
No, I did it in the wagon most likely, or away from camp so that nobody would have seen it.
He looks up into the trees, And then he bends down and he
I
starts.
fall.
opening
I jump off the tree to make it look like I fell out of the tree.
Okay. All right. Now you're gonna have to give me another attack roll.
That's right. This is performance, baby. Oh, it's
I
a
think I've
14.
seen
It's
this one.
it's a 14.
Nice. All right. So you fall out of the tree, and he kind of catches you at the last minute. And he jumps back and he kind of knocks you away, and you hit the ground. You take 2 points of damage. So you hit the ground, and your squirrel form fades, and you are laying there, kind of face down in the dirt. You take 1 extra point of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
Transfers over to you, and you see he jumps back. And,
Hey, keep your hands off my stuff, all right?
So, what are you talking about? What are you accusing me of? Where did you come from? He
I
says,
saw
looking over the
you.
trees.
I saw you looking through my bag, so I've made sure to come out of the wagon, and you shouldn't do that. That's not your stuff, Mister.
The rest of you hear this.
Mister
outside.
Baldur's Gate. What are you, thieves on the road trying to steal
Um,
kids' stuff? We're just trying to get ahead in life. We're just
Lionel,
trying to
Lionel,
educate
please,
ourselves.
Please, Lionel, this is Tomas. Tomas is a good friend.
Tomas is about to get mauled by a
Let's not
bear if he
get-
doesn't
let's
watch
not
it.
get hasty. I'm sure he was just curious.
No, he
Right,
wasn't
Tomas?
curious.
Tomas, were you just being curious?
Yeah, Brother Ven has it right. I was just worried. I'm not sure what you kids are up to.
You
Can
you
Can
were
I
just
glean
worried.
any more insight now that I've had a little bit of time to
Give me an
kind of?
insight check.
All right.
I bet you saw the fact that we were kids traveling with a wagon. You thought we were rolling in the dough.
I cannot fucking believe I rolled another nat 1.
It actually fits perfectly.
None of you believe him at all because he rolled like a 3 on his deception check. But Ven is he's like, oh no, he's a good guy.
Listen here, Tomas. I know what you saw. You saw a bunch of what you thought to be helpless kids on the road in a rather nice cart. And if kids can afford a cart, they got some money. So you figured you'd pick through their stuff and you'd take it and you'd sell it so that you can make your life, your miserable existence on the road that much better.
How can
Listen,
this be?
Leave
How-
us
this is-
alone. I don't know why you felt like thumbing through our things, and I'm actually quite upset that we shared time with you. I thought we knew you, Tomas.
Tomas, is this true?
Tomas, why would you do this to
No,
us?
No, he's
That is crushed.
Mad. He's crazy.
This must
I'm
be
crazy.
a misunderstanding.
You're trying to
Lionel, this must be a misunderstanding.
Listen, were you looking for some undergarments to sniff in there? Is that what you were looking for?
You see, he half draws his sword at that statement, and you see one of the guards who was with him puts his hand on his arm and is like, Thomas, this is not worth it. This is not worth it.
Not worth it. What do you? I have a question for you all then. If we're speaking openly and honestly now, what's your deal? What's your interest in us? Why are you looking through our stuff?
We just came across you guys on the road, and it was just like I said. I don't know what you were up to, but children don't travel in wagons this far.
We are hardly children, sir.
Yes.
Fine young people.
Oh well, I actually do appreciate that. Thank you for the respect. But my question is we mean you no harm. We're just out on vacation from our school.
I mean you no harm. I was just curious.
All right. Well,
he's full of it. He is a terrible liar.
How can I get him to? Oh, I can roll. I'm not the most charismatic.
No.
But I can roll an intimidation. Well, Tomas, listen here. You could tell us the truth, or you can be face to face with the grizzly bear. And
you could stop wagging your tongue before I cut it out. And again, the guards are like, Thomas,
all right.
Thomas.
I honestly, he wants to play this game. I'm going to transform into a bear.
All right.
Right in front of him.
Let's roll initiative.
I don't understand what's happening. Tomas is a nice man.
I got an 8.
An 8. Well, he has an 8. 7 plus 1. What is your dexterity?
11.
11?
Yeah.
So he goes first.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you see he pulls his sword fully out. and he kind of
There are ladies present. Please.
I'm glad you said it because it
How
would
do
have
they-
been
Took it out?
predictable if I
How they
took it out.
handle things in Baldur's Gate? My God.
Ow. Man, he just took it out like that. That's so rude. And he like points his sword down towards you, and he's like, "How about I do just rob you all right here and now?"
I mean,
sir.
I'm gonna charge him.
Whoa, whoa.
I'm
Question.
a bear.
I'm asleep, right?
Just
Yeah,
one
no.
question.
No, you're awake. You're all
No,
up.
we're
You're
up.
awake.
We're all
Oh,
up at
we
this
didn't-
point.
We didn't even get to the first watch.
How many men in this patrol?
There are 4 plus Tomas. There are 5.
4 plus Tomas.
Did we
Okay.
bring a shovel?
In our
I just say to Tomas, we've faced much worse than you, and I suggest you don't pursue this path.
Yeah, we fought a chair once, and you're next. I roll into initiatives.
Tomas, I like you. I don't want to see you be hurt, but these are my friends, and you cannot insult them as such.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, you
Is
better
this
watch
one-
out how you're talking to an expert in military history.
All right. So somebody give me an intimidation check.
I'm a bear.
Who's got a good intimidate?
Oh, I have a good intimidation. I
Can
have
the
a
can
plus
the
4.
Do it.
bear help?
Yeah, you can give me advantage because you are. So you do turn into a bear on your
Oh,
initiative.
that's what I said. Yeah, I turned
Okay,
into a
because it
bear.
was still his initiative. So,
All right.
So immediately, it's this brown bear, and you see he like takes a couple of steps back, brings his sword up higher.
And Grim is definitely, if anybody looks at Grim, he's definitely ready to start going.
Defensus Maximus.
I got,
Soraya, give me an intimidation roll with advantage.
Okay, with advantage. Ooh, 10.
10. All right. You see he backs off slowly.
That's with advantage.
That's not great.
And that's with
Um,
your proficiency, like whatever you add.
Yeah.
But she's got a
Wow,
great
goodness.
charisma and everything, I think. So
Yeah. She's
Yeesh.
yeah,
Sheesh.
it's not great. She's +4 too.
Yeah.
So yes, he kind of backs off a little bit, but you see he does not seem at all impressed, but he keeps moving his sword, and he's like, I don't know what trickery this is, the bear. He's like, what kind of
I
illusion?
assure you, it is not a trick.
Nope, he's a bear.
oh no, he's a bear.
Straight up
I
bear.
can smell him from here.
Roar, 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 roar.
All right.
I mean, are you trying to be intimidating?
I stick my hand into a tree and take honey out.
All right. So,
Lionel, not now.
you see that he rolled a 1, so his nerve kind of breaks. You see he sniffs the air, and he really does smell a bear. And he kind of starts backing up and starts trying to save face. He's like, let's leave these children to their own demise along this dangerous road then. Ah! So you see they kind of slowly back away, and they untether their horses. And you see he kind of reluctantly looking over his shoulder. They ride off into the night.
Thomas, if I'm ever in Baldur's Gate, I will look you up, sir.
Don't bother.
Those guys are a bunch of wangs. I'm going back to sleep. Good night.
I transform back.
Okay. So you've used your two for the day.
Is that my 2 for the day?
A squirrel and a bear.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. So
Yeah,
I'll get my
that was scary.
I'll get my long rest then. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to threaten the guy, but
No, that was super cool. Super cool.
just I didn't want him to steal our stuff that we worked
Yeah.
so hard to get, or actually hurt us. You think that they're maybe not gods in Baldur's Gate, and that maybe they robbed someone else?
Maybe. We might find out.
Possible.
Well, I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna sleep. So if someone else would like to actually
I-
also be a squirrel,
I am so disappointed in Thomas.
yes, I know it's crazy, right?
I'm gonna keep an eye out for them to come back and try to waylay us just in case.
It's utterly devastating, really.
So they
It's
think
like,
I will keep watch. I cannot sleep now.
they do think the better of coming back apparently, and you managed to make it through the rest of the night without any other incidents.
Ah, well rested.
Did I snore? Did I snore?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
As always.
only slightly.
Like an owl bear.
That's pretty
So,
normal.
you continue on your way for the final day. You hope of your travels, and eventually you come upon the town of Marin.
Can we
So
reflect
you
on how
turn
funny
off
an
the trade
owl
way.
bear snore would sound like? That would be amazing. I think,
And you come upon the town of Marin. The town of Marin is a relatively small settlement tucked in the base of the very impressive Cloud Mountains. You can see there is still snow on the peaks of the Cloud Mountains. So as you ascend,
summer.
it is going to get cold. Colder than you probably realized. So you're probably going to have to get some cold weather gear at Marin. When you come upon Marin, you see that it is a humble little collection of houses, and it has a single general store. It has kind of an open marketplace in the middle. It has a tavern with a few people kind of coming and going from it, called the Board Weasel. And it's probably, by the time you get here on the last day of your journey, it's almost dusk when you arrive at the town of Marin. You see the central market is just shutting down. People are closing down their stalls and returning to their homes and tents and wagons that are there. It seems you came perhaps on a market day or something.
Can we quickly find anybody selling cloaks or something to keep warm if we're struggling with the temperature?
Yeah, it's just starting to get cold, but you know if you're going to climb up into the mountains, it's going to get very cold.
All right.
So you make your way through the open market. People are starting to pack up, but you've come across a person who has pelts and furs, and they will happily sell you warm weather clothing. Not the most attractive, but certainly serviceable. Fur-lined boots, fur-lined gloves. That would cost you guys 5 gold pieces each.
Very well.
You can take that out of your general fund.
All right.
So
We'll be nice and warm.
do we deduct the 5 gold pieces from what we have currently?
Yes. Go ahead and deduct 5 from.
I only had, what did I have? I had I think I had 18 on the side, so I'll contribute my 18. So that's 18. We need like 30, right?
Yes.
I'd put 5.
I put 5 also.
Do I still have money from?
Yes, you still
Okay.
have probably about 30 gold pieces left.
Oh, all right. So I'll put in 5, of course.
I mean, at the moment, we're just like too short because I had 18. They put in 5 each. That's 28. So
I
just
put in
like
more.
2
Yeah,
more.
I'll put in more.
So
Yeah, I'll put in whatever
Opal will
we
throw in the last 2.
Yeah.
So you manage to get warm clothes for yourself, and you make your way over to the only place to stay in town, which is the Board Weasel. And you see that it is a comfortable tavern with a big central hearth. You see there's kind of an older gentleman, looks like probably in his 90s, dark skin. He has kind of like a puffy white mohawk of sort on his head, and he's kind of wiping down the bar. He's tall and slim.
Then we'll walk right up to him.
So where can I find it?
Oh, can I help you, son?
Yes. Where can I find it? I'm very excited to see it.
What is that?
The Board Weasel.
Oh. Yes, well, I suppose that might be me. I might be the Board Weasel.
Ah, not what I was expecting, sir.
No, sorry to disappoint, young man or young tiefling.
Yes.
We don't see many of your kind up here in Marin, or strangers in general.
I must admit I don't see many of my kind either.
Yes.
So embarrassing.
Well, you perhaps, if I may interject, and forgive me for being so bold, but perhaps you should change the name of the tavern to the Board Old Man.
And I walk away.
I don't think I'd get as many visitors, but duly noted. I am Lucas Grosnar.
Hello, Lucas.
Hello,
Hello,
Lucas.
young people.
Hello.
Well, what is it you're doing here? This is not exactly on the way to anywhere.
We have come on a mission, sir.
Yeah,
An
we're on a mission from
important
God.
errand.
Oh, and what What might that be?
Well, uh, we are venturing here to find out about the story of the mine, um, where we know that 60 miners were trapped
Oh,
in Vermilion, I believe, is the name.
Can I
yeah,
roll an insight on this man before we tell him more?
that was decades ago. Go ahead and roll an insight.
Thank you. My first natural 20 of today's game.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
baby.
But it's probably a
Uh,
waste because this guy sounds nice.
You see that the second, yeah, he's definitely a fiend of some kind. You see that the second he mentions the mine and Vermilion,
Violin music
there is
plays.
just a super deep sadness that
Yeah.
glazes over his eyes. He says, "Why would anybody want to head there?"
Well, we're students from the the academy, and we're seekers of knowledge.
Knowledge of tragedy.
More likely, knowledge to understand what happened there, so that it may be avoided in the future.
You're to go up there.
Yes, that is our intent.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Well, I remember what happened at the mines. I was a young man.
His mohawk turns black. He's like super buff.
Hey, you want to go
There's
up
a-
to the planet?
Yeah, there's a sepia tone comes across the screen.
He's like, "Hey, Lorna, you want to go on a date?" His wife, Lorna, he says, "My wife, Lorna, she died during that dark time there at Vermilion. She's buried there still. If you do go, would you place flowers on her grave for me?"
It would be my utmost honor, sir.
Well, I thank you, but I don't know what there is to see there anymore. It's been many years since anyone traveled up that way, except to take the path over the mountains, of course, but it's still snowed in, so.
Do you have a preference of flower?
Oh, well, whatever you could find up there. She was
Tulips.
always fond of the
I've
wild
always-
mountain flowers, the wild flowers that grew up on the mountain.
Wildflowers. Yes, I will diligently search for flowers and present them in your stead, sir.
Well, that would be appreciated, and if there's another favor I could ask of you.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Okay.
He says, I left a necklace of my wife's in a hollow of a tree at the center of the village, in front of the mayor's house. He says, I can draw you a rough map, but it is.
I whip out paper.
He takes his shaky hand and he draws a rough map of the village. So as far as I can remember,
Where's the necklace?
it's in this tree, he says, and he points to a tree out front of a large structure that he drew. He says, "This is the mayor's house, and there's a large tree, and in the hollow of the tree, I placed a locket that belonged to my wife that I would very much like to have back."
Why would you have placed it there to begin with?
Well, we left in quite a hurry, as you can imagine, and I don't know. I put it there for safekeeping. I was afraid to leave it in my house. I always assumed I would return to Vermilion, but I never did.
Mm,
All right, we'll
interesting.
get that locket back.
Sure.
I would appreciate that, and if you are willing to try, then you could stay here at the Board Weasel or the Board Old Man. Or, it is
Yes,
on me.
much-
It is
much
my
more active.
pleasure. We have 2 rooms available. We could have a bath drawn if you like. We have food. You are welcome to stay here as my guests, and if you try to return that locket. But I would be happier if you did not go near that place at all.
No, we have to go.
Can you tell
Yes.
us anything about what happened there and why everybody had to abandon the town?
Well, it started with a tragedy in the mines, which is tragic, but not unusual in that line of work. And many people were lost, including my dear Lorna that day. And but it took
Was she a
weeks.
miner?
she was. It took weeks to extradite all of the bodies and the people and the survivors. They had spent so much time underground. They were terrified. They were horrified at what had befallen them, and they spoke of their terror and the darkness and the starvation and the cries of pain in the mines. And when they were finally released, the tragedy continued. The miners started disappearing, and then people from the village began to disappearing, people dying in their sleep. All manner of horrific dreams and darkness were visited upon the village. I still can remember these vivid, horrifying dreams. And that is when I took my leave. I put the pendant, the locket, in the tree, and I took a few things with me, and I left.
They were killed in their sleep, these people.
Yeah.
They disappeared, but some people never woke up. Killed, I cannot say killed. There was no physical signs of trauma.
Very unusual.
You have brought back some very old and very, very bad memories.
Well, that's what we do.
Oh, I really wish you hadn't.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes,
So,
well, don't worry.
About
The
the
Academy
raid-
has sent its best.
Well, I mean, oh, you mean best for gods? I thought you were trying to say best. Which we are clearly not.
All right, so you are in the town, and there's really not a whole lot going on here. There's a general store. There is this Board Weasel, this tavern, open air market, which is closed down at this point. Everybody has disappeared, and probably maybe 2 to 3 dozen homesteads in this entire place. They seem to make a living off lumber, from what you can tell, and perhaps some mining of the foothills. You kind of go around town, and there's not a whole lot to see, and you do see that there is this path that winds up the mountain, this switchbacking trail that heads up into the mountain, and you can see this very ancient sign that is not readable anymore, but you catch just enough of the engraving on it to see that it says something about a mine.
What was the name of the mine in the book? Opal?
On the way, I'd like to pick up any wildflowers that I can find. I'm like scouring the earth for wildflowers.
Okay, well, you at this altitude, there are still some wildflowers, so it actually makes sense to gather them now, because you're not sure once you go up higher there's going to be anything growing at all. But yes, you get like 10 bouquets worth of flowers.
What time is
I
it
keep stuffing them into the haversack.
in game?
Close to midnight by the time you settle in and eat. And,
Okay, so yeah, we can't leave quite yet. Yeah.
No, you'd have to stay at the tavern for the night.
Yeah. All right.
I'm thumbing through that book again just to see if anything sticks out that I want to just keep in mind since we're here and getting ready to go.
Okay, good question. Yeah, nothing. Like I said, it was definitely, the book was written secondhand, so there's not a lot of key information about what happened. There's more drama, and you're not sure how much of it has been exaggerated with the people disappearing, people dying in their sleep, and so forth and so on.
Well, I mean, the old man seems to indicate that it's all true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a witness. We should take down his account.
Certainly.
I mean, I'll actually write down some of what he says, and
Yeah.
as like a report, and say that we have an actual witness who was alive at the time, and write down his name and all that, and her name, his wife's name, and
That is
just
part of the assignment. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly a good idea. So you spend the night at the Board Weasel. The accommodations are nothing fancy, but nevertheless, you get a good night's sleep. And in the morning, you're awakened by the smell of breakfast, eggs, and some bacon. You can basically you put up your horse and your wagons in the stables. Certainly, the switchback trail is not possible to take horses. And in the morning, unless you want to do anything else in the town of Marin, you will begin the climb to Vermilion.
well, I would like to. His name is Lucas, right?
Yes.
I'd like to ask Lucas, is there any supplies we should bring? Do we need like pythons and hammers
Oh.
and like that. Is it that treacherous of a climb?
It didn't used to be, but I would certainly bring some stuff, some climbing gear and so forth in case the trail is washed out. But it should be just a fairly long but not too arduous climb.
Okay, thank you. Can we get that in town?
Yeah, you can definitely get climbing gear, pythons and stuff like that. I believe it's 10 gold for a climber's kit.
Does each person need a climber's kit?
Lady
No,
Soraya
not
has
for
one.
this kind of climbing.
I have a climber's kit.
She's got
Yeah.
Where do you see
adventuring
that?
gear, so she has.
I
You have
have.
adventuring gear. They have the pythons and the pittons or whatever they're called,
Yeah, because I have that.
the
I have
rope.
that as well in my.
Oh yes, I do have. I do have
and
a
a
rope
hammer.
and
Yeah.
adventuring gear. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have some gear, and then you have some cold weather gear, which you just purchased. So you feel fairly well prepared. Certainly,
I'm going through my
after-
pythons, and then you see like a crowbar and some other stuff that you're like, oh yeah, it's for climbing.
And I want you guys to know I also have a jerky, dried fruit, and some nuts.
Oh, very nice. Thank you for bringing the snacks.
You're welcome. No
You
problem.
take that from the cafeteria on your way out.
I don't know. It was in my adventure bag.
Oh. Your adventure bag.
I
right.
had it. It was just what's in my adventure bag, and I have water too. So there you go.
All right, so it takes 3 days climb up
Wow.
the mountain to get to Vermilion. So you start making your way up the Switchback Trail,
See, aren't you glad I brought nuts?
and you
Well,
hike for the better part of 8 hours on your way up till you find a little clearing, a little ledge, kind of to set up your tents. And by the time the end of the first day comes, the temperature has dropped considerably. The air even feels thinner. It's very crisp up here, and you have quite a view. The first day is fairly clear. You set watches, and overnight nothing eventful happens. And in the morning, you pack up camp and continue for your second day and camp for your second night. At this point, you are well up in the mountains. It is very, very cold. You are fully in your cold weather gear now, and I need everybody to give me a survival check.
Ooh.
You just need a 10.
I
Okay.
got a 10 thanks to my +3.
No,
14.
I rolled a 5.
12.
Not 20.
Nice.
I rolled a 5.
All right. So Grim and Radley are feeling a little worn by this trip, and even though you got warm weather gear, it's kind of not keeping you warm. And in the morning, you wake up and you have one level of exhaustion.
So what does that translate to? What does that mean for us?
Disadvantage on skill checks,
Great.
but no attack rolls or saving throws or anything yet.
How do we get rid of a level of exhaustion besides sleeping?
Sleeping. Just sleeping.
Oh, great.
But it's a 3-day journey. That's just day 1.
That was
Yeah,
day
well,
2.
I'm
It's day two.
anticipating 3 levels of exhaustion and then death.
It's 6 levels of exhaustion until death. Don't exaggerate. So you make your way further up the mountain on your third day, and give me a marching order, just in general.
I'll go first.
Okay, I'll go second.
I think Ven would be near the front. Yeah.
Grim and then Ven.
Yeah.
I'll go after.
Who's bringing up the rear?
I would be towards the back, but probably not wise to have me in the back.
Yeah, same for me too. I probably imagine. Right?
So both of you guys are like going.
We're just doing this.
Yeah.
Just keep looking behind you.
I think we take turns just like
Yeah.
So I'll put Lionel at the end. I think Lionel's a little sturdier than Radley, right?
yeah.
All right. So Opal, you're leading the group, and you start making your way. You're walking up this switchback trail, and there's like a pretty severe cliff, pretty severe drop off to your left as you're winding your way up, and you finally get to the point where kind of comes around the corner, and there's this climb in front of you. And you see that there's this rock falls and stuff up ahead, which looks like you'll probably have to scramble over it. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Which for you is +0.
Yeah, well, I got 9.
9. Okay, so you're climbing up. Grim, you're right behind her. So you give me a perception check as well.
Does any of my massive passive stuff work?
Not in this instance.
I get. I only get. Oh, I got a disadvantage, right?
Yes.
Well, I rolled the same thing for both, so I get. I get a 12.
All right. So you're both making your way up this escarpment kind of thing, and you see this large pile of boulders up ahead of you, Opal, and you're just barely paying attention. And it's because you're barely paying attention that you don't notice when the boulders
Move.
just kind of start moving and shifting themselves. Grim, you are kind of exhausted, your eyes on the ground, and you're kind of scrambling, and you don't hear it either. So before you realize even what's happening, everybody else behind, so we got Ven, Soraya, Radley, and Lionel. You can each give me a perception check as well. Actually, you don't even need to give me perception because you guys are kind of around the corner, so you're not going to see this thing until it's already active. So let's just go ahead and roll initiative.
Yay! A 3.
19. Oh,
15.
9.
21, actually.
All right, hold on. Don't go shouting out everything. All right.
Sorry.
All right. So anybody get a 20 or over?
Yes, I got a 21.
21 for Lady Soraya. Okay. How about 15 to 20?
I got 15.
15 for Opal. Okay. 10 to 15? 10 to 15? No. 5 to 10?
9.
6.
6 for Grim.
Yep.
9 for Radley.
Yeah.
Ven, Lionel. 3 for Lionel.
I got a 6.
6. Okay. Grim, what did you get?
6.
6. Who has a higher initiative? Grim does. All right.
So, anyone know Shatter?
So, first thing that happens. Oh, let's go to the mini can.
Doot 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 doot.
Show them what they've won.
Say, these rocks look friendly. Wait a minute. Those rocks aren't friendly at all.
No.
They've come for our haversack. Everyone wants this plate now.
In Marin, rock and mountain fights you.
They're after the wildflowers, Brother Ben.
Yes.
Oh,
no.
This is that scene from The Ruins. I mean, the play, The Ruins, that I saw in Triber, starring Lady Jenna Malone. You know, that famous stage actress. Anyway, in that movie, they were stranded on a ziggurat-like step pyramid because they had been quarantined from deadly plants.
Zach,
I hope that's not the case now.
Oh, I see my miniature.
mini can, Zach. Mini can. There we are. Okay. All right. So you can see up here, disguised as a big pile of rocks, you see what appears to be a moving boulder of sorts. And once it starts to move, you can see it is quadrupedal, really massive, bulky, rock-like structures stuck to this thing's back, but it kind of looks like maybe like a rhino or a hippo type creature made entirely of rock, or at least disguised to look like rock. And when it sees you, it charges to the edge of the cliff and starts running down this sliding escarpment, kind of sliding and charging simultaneously. And when it gets close to Opal, who is in the front, you see it just tucks its head and starts to roll like a boulder, just slamming into the ground with huge chunks of rock spraying up in the air, and it comes charging right at you, Opal. And it hits AC 12. So you manage to sidestep this thing as it comes crashing down right next to you. And
What
then we can
madman would create such a monster as this?
I'm taking notes. Maybe I'll be able to transform into this rock rhinoceros. Oh, lovely.
Rhinoceros. There you go.
Not a
Rhinoceros.
A
Rock
rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros, baby.
That is a good name.
Rhinoceros for the win.
That's Stat Trackers Volume 3.0.
Yeah. Rhinoceros.
We actually have a Rhino Rock is one of the creatures.
Rhino
in
Rock?
Friends and Foes. Yep, it actually. is.
Rhinoceros.
This, however, is called a Galloping Rock, and it is another creature from our Friends and Foes.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's-
cool.
We went
And
to
snakes.
Marin. Everybody
Okay.
had matching
So as we
furs.
get ready to fight this Galloping Rock, I think this is the perfect time to take our break. I'd like to encourage everybody who's watching at home, if you haven't followed us already, to make sure you follow us. We are going to be selecting a winner the second we get back from the break for our free stat tracker core set, $65 value or $65 worth of products from topdoggames.net. So let's take ourselves a quick 10-minute break.
All
Let's
right.
say 15 since we have to make a pick as well, and we will be back at 9:15.
See you then.
Do
The
it.
winner.
See ya.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. So, our illustrious video producer, Zach, has used a randomizer to choose a winner of our Stat Tracker raffle. So, the winner will receive a complete Stat Tracker set, 317 pre-printed monsters, animals, and NPCs in here, plus 50 blank character trackers and 50 blank monster trackers, 20 alphabetical tabs. You use the box, put it all, put the tabs in there, and you have a file box, everything at your easy reach and disposal to run 5th edition. And the winner, the lucky winner, is Goda02.
Congratulations.
Goda.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
We'll reach out to you over Twitch to get your address so we can send that on its way.
Excellent.
Winner.
And if you happen to
chicken
be a customer
dinner.
already and you have the complete set, we'll give you $65 worth of products from our store. So Allie, lovely Allie, will be in touch with you
$65.
about that stuff. $65 retail. So thanks everybody for watching and participating in the raffle. And let's get right back to it. We are in the midst of a combat here, at the cusp of a combat, I should say. So this thing that looked like a pile of rocks suddenly came charging down the hill, revealing its form as kind of like a rhinoceros. Is that what we have decided?
Yes, the rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
I'm going to have to change Galloping Rock to rhinoceros, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So hold the
Officially.
presses. Hold the presses. We're going to have to change that for friends and foes. However, the rhinoceros barely missed Opal and crashes into the mountainside. And you see there's this 10-foot long, probably thousands of pounds creature that just came crashing right down next to you, Opal.
I was
And
all smushed.
Lady Soraya is the first in the initiative order. She is the quickest on the draw. And she is probably about 10 feet down at that first landing there in full view of the rhinoceros.
10 feet away from the rhinoceros?
Yeah, give or take, maybe 15.
Got it. Got it. All right, let's see. So my okay, so I've got range for that. I would like to cast my Scorching Ray.
Ooh,
Am I going to hit
okay.
anybody? No.
Very good.
Okay.
No, you have a clear shot there at the rhinoceros.
Okay, perfect. Let's hurl some 3 rays at this rhinoceros. Let me roll.
That is 3 rolls to hit, and then after you do that, give me 3 d20s as well. and
Yeah,
tell me
because it's
if
a
any of
roll
them
for
work.
each fire, right? For
Yeah.
each.
Yes, you get 3 rays, so do 3 rolls to hit first.
All right.
You are +6 spell attack. I know that because I have her stat tracker right here.
There you go. You see, I have an 8 for 1. Oh wait, plus what's my plus? My
14.
14.
plus 6. Okay.
Okay.
I have a 25 for the other
Mhm.
one, and an 11 for the other one.
Okay. So out of the 3 rays that come firing out of your hand, 2 of them just kind of fire along the back of this stony creature. Hurt it at all? Managed to hurt it. So you can roll for 1 scorching ray, and also give me 3 d20s and tell me if any of them are 1s.
Okay. Oh right. Okay.
Right. You're forgetting the whole time that you're a wild sorcerer.
I'm wild. No, none of them are a 1.
Okay, continue. Roll damage for the scorching ray.
Let's do it. So the damage is a 2d6. So let's see. 8.
Okay, 8 points of damage. All right, so this fire scorches along the side of this this giant rock-like creature, and it kind of winces a little bit, but certainly doesn't seem to do very much at all.
And I'm like, ooh, that didn't go as planned. Is this thing on?
I now have my dry erase full pre-production sample of the DM screen, so I'm using the hit point tracker directly on my screen now with a dry erase pen.
Very nice.
Cool.
Okay, so it is the rock's turn. Unfortunately, the rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
Having burned it, let's see, how far does it have to run to get its trample? It needs 20 feet, so it can't do a rolling trample on you, Lady Soraya, but it is going to charge down the steps towards you because you burned it. That will give both Brother
Brother
Grim
Ben.
Haney and Opal an opportunity attack as it charges away.
My dog's doing the sound effects of the charging rock.
Rough. Anyone have shatter?
So do I get you saying I get an opportunity attack on it?
I do, Mike.
Yes, because it left your threatened square, ran right past you. Grim and Opal.
All right. When it goes by, is somebody adjacent to it to where I can get my my sneak attack?
Sure.
Let's see what we get.
Why not?
I get quite a hit. I roll a 26,
That's definitely a hit.
Good Lord.
and
Wow.
and I get max damage on the dagger, and so I get 7. I get 12 points of damage.
All right.
That was the attack of opportunity. I don't go yet on my initiative.
Okay. So as this thing goes charging by, you stick your dagger in and you cut it all along its side. How about you, Opal? How do you do?
I'm really shook up about this. I almost got squished, so I rolled a 1.
A 1. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So you
I'm
literally,
terrified.
as this thing goes charging away from you, you do this kind of half-hearted stab with your rapier, and you actually go sliding down a little bit of the steps and kind of like fall on your butt, but get up. You're not prone, but you almost
Okay.
fell down.
Okay.
But it is your turn. So do you shake it off and do something
Yeah.
about it? Oh, first of all, hold on. I didn't do the Galloping Rock's attack. Excuse me, the Rhinoceros' attack on Lady Soraya as it comes charging down.
Can I run still?
He's incompetent. He rolled a total of a 9, which is very difficult for this thing to do. But once again, it comes crashing down the stairs, and Grimm's cut must have really thrown it off because it stumbles down the steps and hits the ground next to you, Lady Soraya, and just throws up this spray of rocks and stuff. You imagine if that was you under there, that would have really, really hurt. But it wasn't.
Wow.
Hey, James, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I did 4 more points of damage. I forgot to add my.
Oh, well, now
Yeah.
it's dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm just saying. But
No, 4 more points. Got it. Okay, thanks.
all right.
All right. Opal, it is your turn now.
Okay. So I collect myself and I go, all right, I can do this. And I go strike at it. Wow. Tonight's not my night. I rolled another 1.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. All right. Well,
So
you do have your offhand weapon. You do have your offhand weapon as a bonus, if you like.
All right, let's try that. I'm really, really shook up. I was almost squished.
Wow.
Oh. Shit. Hold on. Holy fuck. Sorry.
Not another one, is it?
Yes, it was another 1. I
Oh,
rolled
man.
a mountain.
All right. 3 natural ones in a row. This might be a record.
You know how hard
This
that is
is-
to do? It's so hard to do.
We're gonna need to get Chris in the game immediately because you
Yes.
seem to have caught all of Chris's dice
Chris,
luck.
come in right now. Save me.
Has he been anywhere near your dice ever?
No, I haven't seen him in like a year.
Well,
Just
then-
don't
throw them out the window. Just
Out
throw
the
Don't
them.
let Chris.
Chris can come in as the Rock.
We don't let Chris touch our dice, though. We don't let Chris.
Maybe
touch
if
our
Chris
dice.
touches my dice, they'll get better.
I don't know.
We'll
No.
see.
But at
They'll
this
find a
point,
way to get worse.
You go tumbling down the steps
Yeah,
after.
that sounds about right.
So you are going to take some bludgeoning damage. There's 3 dice, 3 in a row. You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage, and you wind up prone next to the rhinoceros.
Was that Opal
Just
that just
staring
ran
up
away?
at it. Like, what?
It looks like we
My
have to.
friend Opal.
Looks like we're gonna have to destroy this thing.
Hi.
And I'm like, no.
I feel like a turtle on my back. Like, oh, God, help me.
Flip her over.
All right.
Wow, bad luck.
Yeah, that was terrible. Radley, your
I know I
turn.
got a crystal somewhere for this. I gotta find
So
it.
I must thank Mike in advance because when Mike plays casters, they always have the spell Shatter. So when I was choosing spells, I chose Shatter. So I'm going to use it.
Okay.
right.
All right.
All right. So Shatter. A sudden
Read it to
loud
me. Read it to me, or at least the important part.
a sudden loud ringing noise. Well, first of all, I take out a chip of mica, and then a sudden loud ringing noise.
Wait. I just inspiration.
I
We
take
have
out my
we
chip
have
of
this
mica.
thing about material components. So for him to use it, that's inspiration worthy.
I go into my casting kit. I pull out my chip of mica. A sudden loud ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from a point of my choice within range. It's a range of up to 60 feet. So each creature from that point, centered from that point, must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. A creature made of inorganic materials such as stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage on the saving throw.
Mhm.
Oh, does everybody have to roll?
Nope, just whatever
What is-
I can aim it however I want. So
Got
What is
it.
the radius? It's like a
the radius is the range is 60 feet, and then it's a 10-foot sphere.
10-foot. Okay, so that you could easily just target it then.
Yeah, so just the big rock.
Okay, with disadvantage because it is elemental and made entirely of stone.
Yes, con 13.
That fails miserably then.
Woo.
With his high constitution, it still fails.
3d8.
And you notice I didn't have to ask his DC because I have his DC right in front of me.
That's because
That's
stat
right.
trackers.
On stat trackers.
All right, 3d8 thunder, and I imagine this is like Radley sees like Opal, and he's suddenly like very emotional, like, no, Opal, this is for Opal, and he takes out his little chip of mica, and he like uses it somehow, I don't know, like throws it up into the air, and then like just this sonic force erupts from this little pebble because magic, bro. All right. So 5, 6, 7, and then I rolled an 8. So 7 and 8 is 15. So 15 sonic damage just hits this poor rock.
Sonic boom.
Well,
All right,
not
so
core. I mean, he is a beast.
you do see some large chunks of stone blast off of this creature when you
I'm
do
just
that.
like this. Oh God.
But it is still fairly substantial. Grim, it is your turn.
I will close with the beast.
Sorry, 1 second. Did you want to do anything as a bonus or a movement, Radley?
I don't really have like any bonus actions that are good. I'm gonna kind of like flatten myself against like the edge of the area there. Just be like,
You are pretty close. The only thing between you and the Galloping Rock
Me.
is Soraya.
He's probably unlikely to go back up. So can I like go around him? Can I like go up the hill?
You can go up, but you can kind of get out of his direct path. by
Yeah,
going to the left.
I don't want him to roll me, so I'm just gonna
Okay.
like slide out of the way there. Yeah, I just
So
don't
you
want to
kind
be
of
in his.
sidestep as best you can.
I don't want to be in his path of rolling.
There you go. All right, Grim, it is your turn.
I'm going to close with the beast and strike with, do my attack action with 2 daggers.
All right, try not to fall down.
I will try. All right, so I used 1 sneak attack as my reaction. My understanding of the rules is I get to use sneak attack again on my main attack, because sneak attack is each time you have a turn, and an opportunity attack with when you use your reaction is a turn.
That is how I understand it as well.
Cool.
13 viewers would like to correct us on that. Feel free.
All right, my main hand attack miss. Well, I assume it misses. I only got an 11. 12. Yeah, 11. Sorry.
Okay, so just
My
scratching
offhand.
down, it's
My offhand is a 14.
okay. So you're just stabbing at this thing, and you just can't get through its rocky exterior.
All right.
All right, Brother Ven. I think that may be the first time you've ever missed.
Brother Ven will rather. How close is the rhinoceros to me?
It's right in front of you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna reach out, touch it, and cast inflict wounds on it.
Look at these sweet minis, by the way.
Yes.
And the terrain too.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That is Brother Ven right there.
Nice.
Omar bought this from Hero Forge.
Brother Bean.
And Lady Soraya too. Sent hers.
Very cool.
Now you guys know what I look like. I have a very large bosom.
Oh Lord, what?
Yes, you do.
A bosom.
Clearly, Omar made these.
Good job, Omar.
I see how it is.
Very nice.
We're
All right.
role playing, babe.
Yeah. Point taken, okay? Point taken.
All right, you two.
All right, Ben.
it
Yeah. So
together.
I'm
Don't
gonna.
make me take out the hose. Hose you guys.
sorry,
down.
sorry.
I'm gonna cast inflict wounds on it.
Okay.
I rolled a 15.
15 is not quite enough.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Very close.
Okay. So because that didn't work, I will cast spiritual weapon
Okay.
as a bonus action and manifest a giant pickaxe to cleave the rhinoceros.
Now,
with.
I'm not even sure you'd cast that at the same, even though your spell failed. That is a good question. Whether, because you could normally only cast a bonus action spell if it's a cantrip.
But this spiritual weapon is a bonus action
But
casting.
it's not a cantrip. You already cast the spell, even though it failed.
Oh, I
think-
see. So you're
I
saying
think
that I
you
can't
can-
cast 2 spells in the same turn, even though it's a bonus action?
You definitely can't, for sure. The only thing that is the question is because it failed. Like, would that then exempt
Right.
you from
Okay. All right. I see. It's up to you.
that? I would say probably not. So
Okay. Then I will not do anything else. I will hold my rest of my action there. Turn. I will. I guess.
Okay.
I will take the. Can I take the dodge action?
that is an action. You already cast the spell. Which was
I did. Never mind. I'm done.
All right, Lionel.
All right. So I don't know.
You are actually at the base of the steps right now. You're in the foreground in the picture.
Yes, I
The
see.
age-old battle of
Wait
bear
1 second. I'm
versus Rhino
sorry.
Rock.
I just realized, and I forgot, and this is forgive me because I don't play war clerics very often. I can, however, use my channel divinity guided strike to give myself +10 on that roll.
On a melee roll, melee attack roll.
Says when you make an attack roll, you can use channel divinity to gain +10 bonus to your roll once per.
There you go then.
All right.
There's your bonus action, and now you hit.
Yes. So I use my channel divinity, and I'm gonna hit, and that will be. Hold on. 3d10.
Nice. So you go to touch this creature, and you fail. You basically just scrape your hand along, and you say a quick blessing prayer to Tyr, and you bring your hand down hard, and you focus, and you feel the power of Tyr rush through your hands, and it does. Isn't it
And
right?
yes, and I do not very much damage. I did 4 points of damage.
4 points.
Waste of a channel divinity for 4 points.
Oh no.
Every point matters.
Okay, Lionel, your turn.
All right. So, how far away am I from the rock rhinoceros?
Emotionally?
You are 5, 10, 15. Because you have to go uphill, it's a total of 30 feet. So you have just enough to get there if you wanted to step in front of Radley.
Okay, it's bear time. We're going full bear.
Bear. Oh, well,
Bear
that's
time.
Large
Bear
creature.
time. Bear time. All right, let's get my brown bear up here. The brown bear is a brown bear is a brown bear. They are, how much HP do they have? 34 HP. I got to update that with my temporary HP. 34 bear points. And I'm going to go ahead and rush up that mountain in the classic battle of bear
Right.
versus rhinoceros.
The age-old question will at last be answered. What would win, bear versus rhinoceros?
This is time for the closest thing we're going to get to a kaiju fight.
That's right.
Right.
It's bear
Well,
time.
The
That
unstoppable
video cam-
force versus the immovable object.
That video cam has a lot of bear butt going on.
All
so
right,
let's do
bear.
this.
Oh yeah, the money
right.
shot.
Oh. Barely see what's going on there.
All right, so I'm going to make my 2 attacks. Bite attack is a 7.
That's bad.
That's bared. Claw attack is a 26.
That's good.
Oh,
That is good.
So total damage of 15.
So you'd like a little nibble. Arr.
Arr, 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 arr. He went to bite it and it was just like, too hard for teeth.
How much
It's a
damage?
jawbreaker.
How much
15.
damage?
15?
15 points. That's
Yeah. I critical.
with a crit. Okay.
Yeah.
To say that's not really in the realm of possibility.
No, but with the crit it is.
That is a lot. All right, so you go in there.
2d6 plus
that was,
4.
that was the bite. What did that look like on this
No, it was a claw.
rock creature?
It was a
Oh.
claw. He went to bite. It was like, it's like that, if you bite like an everlasting gobstopper too early and, and his whole face was upset. And then he was just like, bear claw, not just for breakfast. And he clawed them.
He managed to pry off one of the
Yeah.
rocks, making
I want to
it.
rip off some of that rock and beat him to death with it.
All right, back to you, Lady Soraya.
Classic.
Lionel Oakes is really good at the dad jokes.
Right.
Okay, let's see. All right. I would like wait, where am I? I'm right next to it, right?
Yes, you are.
I would like to back away quickly, just with
think-
just not further than 30 feet. Just a little bit. I just want to back up a little bit, like by where that tree is.
Okay, it's going to take a swipe at you if you do with its opportunity attack.
Really? Okay, never mind. I thought maybe I could sneak that in first. Okay, that's fine. I will hit and run. I'm going to cast reduce
Oh,
and
Okay.
try to see if I can make it a little smaller.
reduce. All right.
Yes, so I've been concentrating for about a minute now so that I could do this. It says you cause a creature object you can see within range to grow smaller.
Mhm.
For
Reduce target size and halves all dimensions. Weight is 1/8 of normal. From medium to small, so it's going to go down to medium. Disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. Weapons shrink to a new size. 1d4 less damage with their weapons. Okay, that's interesting.
So here we
Okay.
go. I hope you become little guy. Here we
All
go.
right. So
No,
that's a
they gotta
Constitution
roll,
saving
it's,
throw. So I have to do that.
He has. Oh, sorry. Clearly, I understood that.
Oh, unfortunately, natural 20.
No
Oh.
way.
No.
Now I'm gonna run.
You will get attacked if you run. So you best.
What do I do? Take
Just
my
say,
chances,
hope that your allies will draw the attacks instead of you.
Let him fight the bear.
guys. Somebody needs to handle these.
She went that way. The one who tried to harm you. She's right there.
Damn.
So it is the Rhino Rock's turn, and it just kind of just stands there for a second and starts to tremble, like shake. The whole ground all around you starts to shake.
He's seizing.
And you see right kind of behind you, Grim and Opal, behind you on the stairs. You see these.
I think I'm on the ground still.
Yeah, you're on the ground, but you're on the stairs, kind of a little bit higher than the creature, which is where Grim is.
Okay.
And you see these rocks start to kind of bounce and come together, and all of a sudden, a second one of these things forms.
Oh God.
Man, where's Kevin Bacon when you need him?
Oh, there's
That
two
was
of
a
them now?
That was a Tremors joke.
Tremors joke.
Thank you.
Been working so hard.
That's not Tremors at all.
Yeah, but it you know, dancing.
So even though the first
it's not a crime.
Rocknoceros doesn't go, the second one charges down at Grim. It was not summoned far enough to do its trample, unfortunately. For me, not for you. AC 24, so that is a hit.
Yes.
So it finally comes in contact. Oh, not bad. It does 13 points of damage as it slams you in the back. You hear ribs crack, and this second Galloping Rock creature is right behind you. Opal, it is your turn.
Well, I get up and say to myself, it is so much easier reading about these adventures. And I try to strike it.
All right, the injured one in front of you?
Yes.
Okay.
16.
16 is a hit.
So 10 points damage.
Ooh, this thing is starting to look rough.
And that's all I can do because I got up and
No, you have an
Yeah.
offhand attack.
I can still
Bonus.
do that even though I got up.
Yeah, getting up is half your movement.
Got it.
So since you're not moving any further, that doesn't really matter.
All right. So let's see. So with my dagger. Yeah, no. 11.
Nope. So
No.
your dagger just clangs off the thing's stony exterior. Radley, it
Yeah.
is your turn. Unless you'd like to do something else. Oh, you could also, don't forget, you have combat superiority dice now.
I do. I actually really need to read up on that first before I can use it.
Yeah, you can add D8 to damage and try to disarm a creature with one. And another, if you don't hit, you could roll a D8 and add it to your attack roll.
Disarm its rocks.
Another one. And then the third one you chose is about charisma.
Or maybe literally disarm it.
All right.
Oh, take its arms off.
Yeah.
Okay. Radley, your turn.
I'll cast a level 2 magic missile at the original
Okay.
rock.
The original rock,
Yep. So 44 plus 4.
the original formula.
Dwayne Johnson.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage.
Nice.
5.
Yeah, one of these rocks.
Good
is
thing I just
flame.
cross off little circles because math hurts. So yeah, at this point, this original Rocknoceros is looking very, very beaten. It's basically just a portion of itself. Most of it is cracked and it's kind of just teetering on two legs. It is still formidable, nevertheless.
I kind
Grim,
of just pop up like, take that, and then just kind of hide back down where I was.
Magic missile.
yeah, you're pretty close to it, but you're kind of at this point. You kind of shift around behind the bear.
Yeah, hiding
All right,
behind
Grim.
Lionel as usual.
Oh my
Your
God,
turn.
I go.
Bear is driving.
Who's driving? Oh no, Bear is driving.
All right, so I'm going to use I'm going to use my disengage so that I can disengage from the one that came up behind me,
Okay.
and I'm going to go to the one that's wounded and strike it with my dagger.
All right, let's see. You got room to get in there? Yep, plenty of room.
So I don't get an attack of opportunity because I'm using cunning action to disengage.
Yep, you got it.
And then I'm gonna get my sneak attack, and hopefully it hits. Yep, I get a 22.
That is a hit.
Let's see what I get. Come on, baby. Where is my die? All right, it's a 3 out of 4, so that's 3 plus, that's 8, 11, 14 points of damage from a dagger stab.
How you want to finish this thing off?
Well,
with a point to spare.
with point to spare, well, I think I just basically roll up to it and go up to what I perceive as its neck area, and just try to bury my dagger into its neck area, and wiggle it a little bit and go down.
All right, so you shove it in there and you keep pushing and wiggling until it completely disappears, and the thing kind of collapses on the steps and falls apart basically into rubble, and then your dagger disappears from the rubble and reappears in your magical sheath.
Sweet.
Okay, Ven, it is your turn. There is still one left.
Okay, so seeing that the first one went down, I will turn to the second. I'm gonna walk up to it, and I'm just gonna do a Warhammer attack.
Okay.
Oh God, I rolled a 2, so 6 points. So that didn't hit, and then I'm gonna use my Warcaster ability, or War Priest ability to attack a second time as a bonus action.
Okay.
And that's better. That's a 22.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
22. And
Tear him up. Tear him up.
Question: can I be, since I forgot to mention that I didn't pop my shield out, can I make it a two-handed attack? It's a D10 versus a D8.
Which would you rather have had? Your shield out?
I guess I'd rather have the shield, so I'll just do a D8.
Whatever your standard setup is, I'm never going to ask you. Like, I assume that Opal
the
is
shield would probably
two
be out,
weapons that you have shield mace or shield
Right.
hammer.
Right. Okay, here we go. D8. 7 points of damage on that attack.
Okay. That's pretty good.
And that's it. That's the remainder of my.
All
Very
right.
good. But most important, you got his attention.
Yep. Yeah, it's looking at you now.
That's good because
All
my
right.
armor class is high.
Brown Bear, would you like to Brown Bear?
Bear is ready. It's time to bite rocks. And hopefully not lose any teeth. Bear bite.
Well, the best part is they're not actually your teeth when you go back.
Yeah, that bite's going to miss. And the claws hit a 23 armor class.
Yeah.
And with the claws. Okay.
Yep, dealing 8 damage.
8 more damage. All right.
Eat the claw.
The claw.
Absolutely.
You know how sturdy these things are, so you know it's not going down yet from that much. But you're like grabbing and trying to pull pieces of rock off. Soraya, it is your turn again.
You're muted.
Muted.
Shadow.
Sorry.
You got a look going on tonight, and I just realized what it is. With the way the hair is,
Careful,
the
James.
headphones, and the white,
Leia.
Princess Leia. You got a Princess Leia. Right?
I'm gonna see if I can get some little braided headphone covers, like on Spaceballs, where she has a
Oh.
what?
They absolutely make those without a doubt.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Make me very glad.
Nobody knows.
Etsy, someone on Etsy. All right,
She's a
so
base.
I'm gonna cast Witch Bolt. If I want to convert sorcery
That bolt.
points to a bonus action, do I have to say that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, do you need them? Do you need the sorcery points converted into spells?
I won't know if it unless
If
no,
she
not
wants
for.
to
I was
cast
gonna.
it, if she wants to cast it at level 2, she does.
Okay.
But if
And
she casts it at level 1, then she doesn't need to convert.
No,
spell
no, no.
slots.
I can cast level 1. I just meant because I can use it to make a bonus action.
Oh, to
right?
make it a bonus action. She's quicken
Right.
spell she wants to do.
Quicken spell.
Oh, sure.
So that's why I was asking if that was something that I could like wait and see if it hits
Right, because
first.
she could theoretically do that and a cantrip, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
you
so
use
it
a
would just give
sorcery
me-
point
Okay,
to cast
perfect.
Witch Bolt as a bonus action.
So we're going to do Witch Bolt at first level because I have slots for
Okay.
that. So let's
You
go
roll
ahead
to hit.
cast that. Let's see. Pick a dice. Pick a dice.
Make a good one. Make a good one.
Oh, nice. 14 14 to 20.
20.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So the electricity goes sparking out from your little twisted stick that you use as a material component, and connects solidly with this creature. You do D12 damage.
It is a 6.
6 points of lightning damage. Okay. And give me just roll another D20. Make sure you don't get a 1.
Oh, I got a 1.
Did you? Nice.
Exciting.
Okay, so roll percentage dice.
I've never
As
rolled
the
one of those
magic,
before.
for the first time, the magic gets away from Lady Soraya.
So those are, babe, those are the ones that
Yeah,
they're 10-sided dice.
I know. Yeah, they're here. They're
Yeah,
these with the
alright.
double digits.
Yes. So you want
Yeah.
the regular ones and the one with the double digits.
Right. What regular ones?
You want the ones. You want a D10 that has from 1 to
Oh,
0.
Yep.
Right,
I
from
have
1
that.
to 9 up to
Uh-huh.
10. 0 to 9
Right,
rather.
0 0.
Right, and then the other one that goes 0 0 1 0 2 0. That one.
You have a
You want to roll both of
D10
them at the same
and
time.
a percentage dice.
Yes.
And I roll these two.
Yes.
Roll them together.
Learning on the job, guys. Here we go.
That's okay.
Okay, so that's a 90%.
A 9 0.
9 0. And my second dice is a 7. Does that have a plus anything or
Oh,
No,
okay,
that's a 97.
97.
What is that?
Oh, I see. It goes together. Oh,
Yeah.
I now I get it. Sorry. Okay, got it.
So all of a sudden,
Oh,
after you
I'm
cast
excited.
that very impressive spell, which is now connected, the electricity is connected to this galloping rock in front of you.
Uh-huh.
You hear this music start to play, kind of floating around Lady Soraya.
Is it rock and roll?
I mean, it says faint ethereal music, but I'm thinking Lady Soraya should tell us what kind of music it is. It's her theme song.
It's a little style of music called bachata, and it goes bing 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 bing. That's what it's doing.
Yeah, that's going to go on for a while, so I hope you guys like it.
I hope you like it.
Nice.
And there's just like a faint little voice going like, "Hey, on top of it."
I forced
All
the
right.
Shemshine lyrics to fit that melody, and I'm just like singing along.
Nice.
The
So
Shemshine.
the Galloping Rock turns its attention on brother Ben, who's right next to it.
Hold on.
and-
She still has her action.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that too. Thanks.
Yeah.
That
You got a
was
lot going
bonus.
on.
That's right. So I'm like, oh no, my magic went wild, and then and then
So let me do
I-
more.
let's do it again just to be sure. Okay, so then I can do a cantrip. You said.
Yep.
Firebolt.
Okay, Firebolt.
Let's go for it. Okay, so I roll for that.
Mending.
I got break rocks. This is a cantrip.
Got a rock.
Oh, nice. 22.
22. Roll damage.
Throw a rock out.
1d10.
1d10.
It was a big rock.
5.
5 more points of damage. Okay, and roll another d20. Another 1, maybe.
Okay. All right, here we go. Ooh, don't be a 1. Don't be a 1. 19.
Okay. So the Galloping Rock now turns its attention to you. And it's going to attack Brother Ven. That is a 19 to hit, so that is AC 28.
Sorry, Bang.
28.
26, rather. 26.
Oh yeah, that hits. Even
Oh,
despite
no.
my 19 armor class.
Even with your shield? Huh.
Yeah.
Let's see. 11 points of damage. Of bludgeoning damage.
And I'm
All
like,
right.
I'm sorry, Bang.
Okay. Opal, it is your turn.
All right. So I'm going
So you
to
see the creature's
again.
trying to trample. I'm sorry. The creature's trying to trample poor Brother Ven.
Yeah. Hopefully I can help and hit it.
Let's see.
Give him hell, Opal.
Yes. So finally I got a 19
Yeah.
Woohoo!
plus 5.
Uh-huh.
So let's see.
Okay.
Where's my
That's
dice?
It is enough.
It is successful.
4 points. 4 points of damage.
4. Is that a 1?
Yeah. All right, and then we'll try again with the dagger. Nat
You're-
20.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
All right, so with the dagger, that's a it's a which one? What dice is that again? Because I
D4.
forgot to write that down. 4, right?
D4.
All right. So that's a 3. So that's 6 points. Do I add 3 to that?
You
For
would-
some reason, I don't have my dagger on my sheet.
Yes,
That's
it's
not good.
It would be D4 plus the 6 because you have the 2 weapon fighting, so you get your bonus to the offhand.
Okay.
You notice your weapons are only doing half damage, by the way, all these weapon attacks that you guys are doing, but there's enough magic thrown in there that you're still killing it.
Okay.
So
I feel a little better about myself because I was like, yes, I finally got it.
All right, that was Opal's turn. It is Radley's turn.
Level 2 magic missile again.
All right.
Sniping this thing. That is, I think, the worst magic missile roll I've ever seen. I rolled 3 ones on the d4s.
Wow. Wow.
And 1 3 on the 4th. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right. Well, at least it does full damage. So, so they kind of. Grim, it is your turn.
All right, I will close with the beast and do what I do. So I will attack it with my daggers as usual. Let's see what I get. I get a 16. All right.
16 is just a hit. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I barely get into it. So 3, 8, 12, 13 points of damage from a magic dagger.
Magic.
And sorry, yeah, what?
Yep.
And then I guess I'll use the offhand as well. And the offhand misses with a 10.
All right. So the offhand scratches along its stony surface, but the other magical dagger plunges deep. Ven, your turn.
Okay, I will seeing that my weapons were not producing the same effect that I'm used to with when I hit things with my weapon. I will cast as a bonus action. I'm going to cast magic weapon on my weapon.
Nice.
Well, also just as a I'm sorry to interrupt, but Opal, are you using the rapier that you got from the adventure where we went into the mansion?
Yeah.
Because that's
Or
technically,
did I leave that?
I think that's a magic. Well, I don't know if you left it or not, but I
don't
took it.
remember.
I took it and I gave it to you on another time
All right, then I'm using it.
because I think that counts as a magic weapon, James.
What is the
It was we took the daggers and the rapier from the mansion, the magical mansion.
I don't think she took the rapier.
No, I did, and then I gave it to her when she didn't have any weapons. I gave it to her at the school.
It was
remember
magical?
that part.
I don't think
I'm
it was
not
magical.
sure.
No, it was not magical.
No?
No.
All right. Just well made.
The crossbow she has is magical.
Okay. All right. Very good.
How about that?
Self-loading crossbow +1.
Okay.
All right, Ven.
Yeah, so I
you
made
cast-
my
cast weapon.
There
Warhammer
it is.
magical,
Okay.
and I will roll, and it is a 15. That does not hit, right?
Barely a miss.
All right. Yeah. So that's it. That's my action. That's my turn.
So close. Brown bear. Brown bear.
Brown bear is a brown bear.
What do you see?
Ice. I rolled a 13 on the bite
Mm-hmm.
and a 14 on the claws. So
All right. So no contact. You're just
2 misses.
tearing away at this thing with no effect.
Very poor
Soraya,
rolls.
it's your turn again. You are connected with the witch bolt, so you can automatically do damage
Yes.
as an action.
So damage and an action. Okay, so damage first, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
it's
damage as the action, you're saying.
as the action. Yes,
Oh,
you
oh, okay.
automatically hit basically.
It's a 6.
6 damage. Okay.
Mhm.
6 electricity damage.
Now, so I have a question.
Yes.
Out of character. It's hard to tell sometimes. The tides of chaos. If I'd like to get an advantage on an attack roll, I have to say that before I roll the attack roll. I imagine.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So damn it, I missed that opportunity. Okay.
Well, it doesn't matter. You still hit, so it's a good thing.
No,
you
I know.
saved it.
I just wanted to know. I just wanted to understand. Thank you. All right.
Okay. So 6 points of damage. You want to describe that?
Do I describe that? Oh,
Come
so sure. So I describe what the damage is exactly?
Just what it looks like. Your flare.
Yeah.
Your own
So
particular panache.
my my little flare, it turns like bright pink. Ugh. And then I'm like, take that, you rocky bastard. And then it just like what can happen to it? Anything?
Sure. Well, you did 6 points of damage, so that happened.
Hitting it right between the rhinoceros horns. And
The
it like
rhinoceros horns.
yeah. And it just blows them right off. That's what happens.
But it doesn't kill him, and now he's just deformed, and he has to go back to his
Did I-
family.
A 6 isn't enough to kill him, no.
I knew there was a lot of panache involved, though. All right. So let's see who it attacks randomly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to attack Grim. So the thing is just kind of whirling around in rage, just kind of trampling and trying to butt people and crush it in its stony jaws.
Have we tried reasoning with it?
Let's
Let's find out what it wants.
AC 18.
Oh yeah, that hits.
What are you now, Grim, with the new armor?
17.
17. Just have to update your stat tracker. See?
Yep.
Done. Okay.
This
So
is
it
gonna
does
hurt.
hit you.
Yep.
Does 8 plus 4, 12 points of damage.
Oh boy.
It kind of catches your leg in its stony jaws and just bites down.
I think we should parlay.
Opal, it is your turn.
Okay. So I'm going to try to strike at it again. So that is a 19
Okay, that's a hit.
with 8 points of damage.
Okay.
Sweet.
Half.
I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident. I'm like, yes, I can finally start hitting this thing. And I go for the dagger.
You got rid of all the low ones up
Yeah.
front.
I got a 19 plus 5, so that hits.
Okay.
So again, what was it with the dagger? It was plus what?
You are plus 5 with the dagger. And plus 3 to damage. Can't hear you.
Hmm?
Can't hear you. What'd you get?
4 points damage?
4 points? Okay.
Yes.
What AC did you hit? You hit high, right?
Yeah, 19 plus 5,
Okay.
so yeah.
All right. So you little at a time, you're chipping away at this thing. Rapier and dagger just. Radley, your turn.
I'm gonna step out from where I am. Like I want the rock to see me. Does he see
So he
me?
can smell what's cooking.
Yeah, that's right. He smells what you're cooking.
I say, hey you, hey there. Hello. Does it respond to me anyway?
Give me an insight.
No, very bad.
Sure, it's looking right at you. Definitely. In
Roll
your
the 9.
mind, you have its full attention.
What is it you want? Who has sent you?
No response as you as a player expected.
You dumb animal. You just make us. Why do you make us do these things? It's magic missile, but the level 1 version because I'm out of level 2 spell slots.
Oh no.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage.
12 damage. Yes. All right. This thing is looking like it's falling apart, and yet it just stands there and takes it.
Go
Grim, you-
home. Just go home.
Cocks its head at you.
Ugh. Maybe we can make it a pet.
I'm actually trying to study it right now.
My pet rock.
Lionel, do you think you could mate with it in some way?
Bear rock rhino?
Well, perhaps you could study it and take its form and,
I'm a bear.
get up in there.
It's an elemental.
Oh, it would be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a beast. Am I up?
Yeah. Grim.
Oh,
Grim
Grim
went?
is up. Okay.
I figured you were slow playing.
I go.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
'cause
right.
I'm like last.
I'm beat up pretty bad, but I'm gonna try to take this thing down before it takes me down.
Good idea.
So here we go. All right, let's see. Two daggers. I get a 26 on the main hand, and I get a 20 on the offhand.
Mm-hmm. Both hit.
All right,
One
so
attack.
let's see what we get here. All right, so we get max damage on the main hand from the dagger itself. So that's 4, 9, 10, 14 from the main hand, and 4 from the offhand.
Wow, 18 points of damage.
I'm in desperation jamming both of my daggers into this thing's side.
It is still kind of moving around and heavy footfalls on the ground and swirling around in an angry kind of circle, but you guys are just taking it apart a piece at a time. Brother Ven?
I will, now that my weapon is magical, I will try and hit it. I'm going to hit it twice. I'm going to hit it once with my normal attack and once with my bonus action using my War Priest ability.
How many times can you do that? Twice a day?
I can do that 3 times for
Nice.
long rest.
Nice.
All right, so here we go. First one, natural 1. Second one, 15. So 15 plus 4, 19.
One hit.
Okay. And that's a D8. 7 plus 2, 9 points of damage. with a
9 points
magical
of
weapon.
damage.
Oh,
from a
plus
magical
1.
weapon.
Plus 1, so 8. 8 points of damage. Not 10 points of damage,
10
rather.
points,
Sorry.
10.
Yeah.
All right. How do you want to do this?
By the power of Tyr, I condemn you to a life of
A rock quarry! And I just busted on the head with my axe or whatever, my weapon, my warhammer.
Okay.
And hopefully it shatters. I would love for it to start shattering at where they used to have horns, and then just like the shatter just kind of, and it just stands there for a second, and everybody just sits and watches, and then it busts into a big pile of rubble.
All right. Good. So it falls into a huge pile of rubble at the end of your mighty blow from Tyr. All right.
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
Finally.
yes, unfortunately, it has injured me.
Yeah, about that. I'm sorry, Brother Bing. See, the thing is, my magic is a little bit out of control sometimes. I'm working on it, okay? Sorry.
You did fine. It was my proximity to it, I think.
Yeah, it was your proximity. And, if I had like a spell to make you better, I would.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. 1d8.
Well, I'm actually.
Oh,
Grim is actually going to
gained
sit down
back
for a minute
all
because
my hit
he's
points.
exhausted and he's also hurt bad. So
All right. So there's nothing left of these creatures except piles of rock.
I search for magic items.
Yes. Inside you find a Vorpal blade.
Yes, at
both
last. I
the
knew.
hand and the eye of Vecna.
Oh wow.
So no, you sit down to rest for a moment, and of course, at that moment, the sky opens up. It's been kind of drizzling on and off all day as you go into the frigid heights of this mountain, and finally, it starts to rain in earnest, ice cold, driving rain, kind of forcing you to your feet before you would like to, unless you'd like to try to squeak a short rest out of it, an hour here.
Probably best to move on.
Oh, I'm actually beat up pretty good. Does anybody have any way to assist me with any kind of healing or anything?
I do.
I can, but
I do.
I'd basically be
Out of
the
spells?
station. Yeah.
I'll hit you with a cure wounds.
All right, thank you.
I'll
Alright, you
use
get-
the teleportation scroll on you.
You get 10.
Thank you, Lionel.
No problem.
I go back to my room for a nice night's rest. With
Yeah.
teleportation scroll.
Back
The
to
way
the
my-
academy.
The way my cure wounds works is I walk over to you. It's kind of like little like spectral kind of like vines and stuff kind of form all over you.
Nice.
They're all green and glowy. It's
Oh, yeah,
all-
it's like Groot-esque, right?
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
Groot-esque. It's based off of like Groot. Yeah,
Very cool.
Well, I'm looking better, but I'm still pretty wounded.
I
So.
could probably hit you with another if you want.
No, I'm not. I mean, that's up to you. But I have more than half my hit points now, but I'm still far away from max.
Well, I don't cast a lot of spells, so let me hit you again because it's a
Okay.
first level. All right, you'll
Okay.
get another 6.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Run it under a cold tap.
Yeah, I run it under a cold tap.
Oh, well, I mean, I took 25 points of damage from that thing. So
Damn.
Hey, you know what? It's exactly like my dad says. Just walk it off. You're fine.
Yeah, walk it off.
You
exactly.
have a bone sticking out of your leg. Just walk it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
It's
good.
like when a little kid gets hurt, so you just try not to react, and you're just like, you're fine. Everything's fine.
You're
We
okay.
all believe that Grim is fine, so he is.
He is.
That's influence.
Just call me Grimkerbell.
Perfect.
Right.
So you continue on through the pouring rain for about another hour or 2 or 3. You're not quite sure. It feels like forever. But finally, you get to this this opening, this little valley, this little dip inside the kind of bowl of the mountain. Vermilion is in view. You see that it's a village, eerily quiet. Plants and wildlife have overtaken the crumbling houses. Leafless vines climb rotting walls. Gnarled trees protrude from fallen roofs of a few buildings. The heavy downpour of rain kind of has this incredibly oppressive feeling on the town as you walk towards the village, and the last little bit of light in the gray sky kind of disappears to full darkness. The rain pounding so hard in your ears, you can barely hear the person next to you. And that is where we will leave tonight's adventure. We're going to have to make this one a part 2.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Pretty
baby.
That's exciting.
Nice.
Purple rain.
Well done on the combat, guys. That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we survived.
Yeah.
Whew.
You guys did
I
pretty
survived.
well against. What'd you think of the Friends and Foes Galloping Rock, soon to be renamed?
That was fun.
Rhinoceros?
I also
Chris.
I also said that both his horns, but doesn't he only have one?
No, yeah, Rock.
Clearly, I don't. I couldn't.
I think some of them have
Very-
a bigger horn and followed by like a little nub.
A little nub, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
See, I
might
wasn't
be right,
totally
yeah.
off.
Only the kinky ones. Zach, you can edit that out, right?
Yeah, edit that out. That's right.
But that was good. That was a
Loved
good.
it.
That was a good creature to fight.
Yeah, fun. Fun.
Very cool.
That
Well,
was
great
awesome.
game, guys, and we will be back in 2 weeks. We're gonna go bi-weekly going forward, at least for the time being.
Oh.
And we're gonna see. Maybe we can convince somebody to run a game on the off nights. Jordan.
Ah.
So did the winner come back to claim?
I don't know. We're gonna whisper them through
Okay.
Twitch, and
Cool.
we're gonna see. But congratulations, Goda, or maybe Gouda. No, Gouda would have a U in it. Goda,
Right.
02,
That's a cheese.
for winning stat trackers. And thanks you guys for coming, and thank you everybody for watching and following us. And we will see you very soon.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Have a good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Great game.